The new Modus Super Series champion.
Oh my word!
It's another incredible moment tonight.
Jeff Smith.
It's match down.
5-star performance.
Ball for big fish.
It's
Jack Drayton!
Campbell looking at 130. It's double 5 for a 130 checkout. Oh, what a shot there by Campbell. Treble 19's the target. Double 12 then for a 141 checkout.
The first leg, Lee Cox.
Super darts by Lee Cox.
Second leg leader.
Double 18. What a shot to win. What a performance to win. John Henderson, still 100% on the doubles. We have 50% of our field for Saturday night. 3 more players will go through to return here to the Live Lounge in Portsmouth tomorrow, but who will they be? The action concludes over the next couple of hours. A very good evening to you. Welcome along to the Live Lounge here in Portsmouth, home of the Modus Super Series. Every dart live and free right here on Pluto TV. Laura Turner is alongside me in the studio, and before we get to Group B, which is what we're going to tackle tonight, we also watched Group C earlier on this afternoon, and it was Ash Coleman who led the way, topped the group overnight, and managed to secure his place in Saturday.
Yeah, most definitely the most consistent performer that we had throughout Group C. Started off well, dropped 1 game yesterday, did drop a game today, but that was after the point of qualification. First one through and ends up top of the group.
And we saw some stunning stuff for him, particularly in this last game against Steve Green. A 103 plus average, 100% on his doubles, 2 ton plus finishes in there. He's heading into Saturday with oodles of confidence.
Yes, one way of signing off a very successful campaign, isn't it? It was the best that we'd seen from anyone, and there you can see he's joined by Kieran Ford in Group C and Tommy Morris. So for me, what's interesting, we could have a new name on the Roll of Honour this week.
Tommy Morris obliterated Group A. As you mentioned, Coleman and Ford through from Group C. But who's going to go through from Group B? Cox, Campbell, Kelling, Cressy and Henderson, the names. And this is how the table is shaping up heading into this evening's action. It is Scott Campbell who completed the card yesterday, and he's the best poised to make it through to come back tomorrow.
Yeah, he can't be in a better position than winning every single game, but he looked really good. His finishing was exceptional. His scoring was there as well. It's a combination of both factors. Yeah, he's got 1 foot in already for me.
And he's a smart man. He knows exactly the situation. He knows the calculations. Barring pretty much losing every game, he is almost guaranteed to be back.
You'd be very surprised if he didn't. I do remember when he was actually 100-to-1 shot in the international pairs to top the group.
And he keeps reminding everyone about that, doesn't he?
He does indeed, yes. So, and they did top the group. So he'll be aware that, yeah, even if it seems unlikely, until the job is done, until his name's in gold, he's still going to have work to do.
Just behind him, second position at the moment, John Henderson, a player who yesterday finished superbly. In 2 of his games, he was immaculate on the doubles, 100%. If he can keep that form up tonight, he's got as good a chance as anyone of making it through to Saturday as well.
Yeah, the only person that he lost to was Scott Campbell, because Scott went through the card. So ultimately for John, he's in the next best position. He's got 6 points down. You think a couple more wins, then obviously he's safe. And from what we saw yesterday, if it carries on the same, especially the finishing, as you mentioned, then I can't see him not making it through to Saturday.
Especially on tops, one of those games where he was faultless on the doubles. Every single shot was on tops. And this was a tops finish against Kelling, where he said, actually, this is not something he normally does, but he was just feeling so good. He thought, why not?
Yeah, and it paid off dividends. I know with 3 darts in hand, he's normally one of those safer players that will go a different route. But ultimately, if you're feeling that good and you've got a bit of a lead, then you make the most of it. And that was definitely what John Henderson was doing yesterday.
So Scott Campbell in pole position in Group B, John Henderson just behind. But how do the bookies see it when it comes to the outright winner? Here are the odds. Scott Campbell, no surprise, 4-7. The short favourite, John Henderson just behind, 6-4. The bookies have him at, but it's Another player of Cox, Cressy or Kelling, probably not going to be Kelling. He's 1,000 to 1 for a reason, but Cox 14s and Cressy 25s. Who do you fancy out of those two?
Obviously Lee Cox sat in third place. If it's the outrights to win the group, he's third. He's third on the table, so he has got the chance. But I actually think it's going to be a little bit of a battle. I think a bit of a scrap between the bottom three as to who takes that final place and makes it through to tomorrow.
Well, if you are going to have a gamble, make sure you do gamble responsibly. 18+, begambleaware.org. Right then, we are almost ready to get the action underway. Big John Henderson is first up on the oche, and I spoke to the Highlander a little bit earlier on this evening. John, great to see you. Yesterday, some pretty good stuff. How much are you looking forward to trying to continue that today?
Oh, 100%, yes. It's always about getting to the Saturday. So yesterday it went to plan. I would have taken 6 points. I've got a bad back at the moment. But I played actually quite well. The finishing was there, which I've been struggling with lately. I need to clean up my scoring, but if I can get that right and continue with the finishing, hopefully I'll get the job done tonight.
You had 2 games yesterday where you were 100% immaculate on your doubles. One of them, every single leg on tops. It's been really going well for you on tops, hasn't it, recently?
Oh, tops is, I always say it's my best mate, tops, Ken, because I always try to avoid 32 as much as I can and leave tops. I think I was the one game I went tops yesterday. I don't normally do that, but because they were going in, I go for it and it went in. So I didn't realise I had 2 100% in the doubles, but I'll take that every day because that has been my kind of heartbeat at the moment. My scoring's always been there, but the finishing has pulled me through this week, yeah.
And how much confidence does that give you, knowing that you're in a pretty tidy position to qualify for Saturday? And if you can keep the form up from yesterday, you've got as good a chance as anyone of getting through to come back here tomorrow.
Yes, as I say, at the start of the week, Saturday has always been my aim. If I get to Saturday, to me, it's job done. It's not been an easy week. I've played well, I finished well. Last night, I give Scott Campbell that game, and he's a lovely lad, and we were very close friends. But that was the one game I thought I maybe slipped away. But no, back onto it tonight. Hopefully the doubles keep on doing. If I can just get that scoring a wee bit, get my average up a wee bit, hopefully I'll get the job done and I'll be here tomorrow night.
Well, wishing you all the best, John. Best of luck.
No problem. Thank you. Cheers.
The Highlander, John Henderson, what a career he has had in the game of darts. And as he was saying, is struggling a little bit with a bit of a back problem, but thankfully for him, it's not an issue which seems to occur too often when he's at the oche throwing. Second behind Scott Campbell, the 2 Scots leading the way here in Group B as we look to complete the lineup for Saturday night. Who will be back here and potentially this time tomorrow be on the cusp of lifting the weekly title. 2 times Big John Henderson has been a weekly winner here at the Modus Super Series. Can he make that 3? Jamie Kelling was initially not meant to be here, has stepped in to save the day. The 36-year-old from just up the road in Andover hit more maximums than everyone else yesterday, but didn't win a game. John Henderson hit more tops than anyone else yesterday. 2 of his games, he was 100% on his doubles. And one of those matches, every single double was tops. Overseeing the action, the legend that is Paul
First leg,
Hinks.
John's through first.
So
Game
away
on.
we go then, and 3 spots still yet to be decided. 2 of them, you can hazard a guess, Laura, will be Scott Campbell and this man, John Henderson. And it's everyone else scruffing it out for that 3rd and final spot.
43.
Although we're still yet to see that mathematically confirmed, but you get the sense it will be the 2 Scottish boys who book their spot back here tomorrow first.
Yeah, you'd be very surprised, wouldn't you, if you didn't see them both there. But anything can
them
happen
40.
in this format. And we've seen the most improbable, the most unlikely things come to pass. So until, as we were saying before, until your name is highlighted in gold, you still have work
81.
to do. Yeah, as for Jamie Kelling, you have to feel for
100.
him slightly yesterday because I was looking over the numbers and the stats and everything was pointing in a positive direction. I mean, I think if Jamie had played the way he played last night, but found himself in Group
55.
C, I think it would have been him challenging for top spot in Group C from what we saw last night. But unfortunately, Group B just proved just a little bit too taxing on night 1 for Jamie.
53.
Well, we saw the conclusion of the Premier League of Darts last night. John Henderson has competed in the Premier League as a challenger back-to-back years in 2019
100.
and 2020. But in recent years, it's in the World Seniors where he's found lots of success, particularly
58.
2024, where he won the World Masters in the Seniors, the World Match Play, and the World Championship. Turned 53 at the start of the month.
135.
This new slimmed
Jimmy
down
Carr,
version
150.
of John Henderson. Great to see him looking and throwing so well.
$96.
The World Cup
Johnny
of
Carr,
Darts, of course,
87.
around the corner, and he has won it in the past, along with Peter Wright, as part of Team Scotland.
Getting shot on the
And
first
he's
leg,
won the
John
leg
Henderson.
on the bull, and his excellent finishing continues into today,
Second leg, Jamie to
picking
throw
up from where he
first.
left
Game
off
on.
yesterday.
Yeah, great opening leg from John Henderson.
180.
Well, if the finishing continues from yesterday for Big John Henderson, the maximum hitting has carried on too from Jamie Kelling.
27.
80 hit across Group B yesterday. That's his first of tonight.
Yeah, Jamie Kelling is
60.
a relatively local player. I've played alongside him when we've played things like we play Super League over in just
180.
down the road in Eastleigh. Play at county level as well.
2 180s in the leg for Jamie Kelling.
180. $42. Jimmy Carr, 81.
Well, Jamie Kelling down to 81 after just 9, but
67.
made a bit of a mess of it, yes, but he has got plenty of time. Hendo back on 252.
Well, you can call me missed it because I
140.
predicted that
Jamie
Jamie
Carr,
Kelling had
40.
hit 2 180s in the leg before he'd actually done it.
Getting shot on the second leg, Jamie
But he's
Kelly.
closed it out on double 7.
Third leg, John to through first. Game on.
Hendo did have a 180 in that leg. 3 maximums in that leg, and it goes the way of Kelling, 1 apiece.
Yeah, I think it's just you're hearing the 180 call and just not sure who to
140.
attribute it to sometimes.
Well, I guessed it would be Kelling because he's just hit so many of them. High quality start to the night here
60.
in Group B. This is week 5 of Series 14. 12 weeks in a series, each week yielding a champion.
100.
And at the end of the 12 weeks, all of those champions will compete against each other in what we call ingeniously Champions Week.
140.
And all of those weekly winners duke it out for the honour of being series champion. And we are almost halfway through the series already. Series 13 was won by Jack Drayton, beat Steve Green in the final.
125.
And what a dramatic final it was. Jack Drayton 3-0 up, missed 8 match darts. Steve Green came back, pulled it back to 3-3, missed a match dart at tops himself for the
85.
title.
Johnny Carr,
And then eventually
136.
Drayton went out to win the crown.
Well, Steve Green's a great example of just how difficult it is to
96.
get back to try for Champions Week again, because he played this week and unfortunately he fell in Group C. So he won't be making a return, despite being runner-up in the
100.
last series.
Johnny
Will
Carr,
not be making a
40.
return to Champions Week this series.
Getting shot in the third leg, John Henderson.
Loving
Fourth leg,
tops
Jamie
right
through
now,
first.
John
Game
Henderson.
on.
Barely missed it yesterday. And he's looking good on it already.
He said to you that that is his
43.
go-to double. He will try and avoid leaving double 16 if possible, but well, it was an 18 dart leg to start off proceedings, but since then 13 and 14
100.
darts are the winning leg numbers. Very competitive, and there you can see it reflected in the averages.
Kelling was 10 points better off.
77.
In the last leg, he was up and around 103. That's still very impressive stuff in the mid-90s from both players.
60.
John Henderson, a tour card holder in the PDC for 11 years, dropped off the tour in 2022.
60.
Just wonder whether he'll be satisfied with all of the things that he's achieved. A lot of players can look back on what they've done and say,
45.
you know what, I'm happy. Others, even though they've done loads, aren't happy because they're always chasing more. And I get the sense that John is more in the prior camp where he's actually quite happy with what he's achieved
9.
and he's content with what he's managed to do in the game. There are others who maybe do get the sense that they've not fulfilled their potential.
Which I understand to an extent, but I think at the beginning
58.
of someone's career, if you could say that you could spend the rest of your life playing a sport you love and earning enough to make a comfortable living, then most people would they would take that right from the
125.
off. As for Hendo, you know, I think the pinnacle for me it was when he picked up that title alongside Peter Wright, that World Cup. It was just so well deserved.
Yeah, if you can lift a few
138.
pots and silver things along the way, then even better. Perfect. Oh, can't follow it, but that's the kind of dart that Jamie
80.
Kelling loves.
John
That's the
Newcar,
kind of dart
100.
that Jamie Kelling hates. On the floor. Tops. John
Game shot on the fourth
Henderson.
leg. John
Tops
Henderson.
is yours. You own it.
Fifth leg, John to through
Another
first.
tops finish from the Highlander.
Game on.
We saw one yesterday, and we've got another one today, this time on a ton.
Now, I'll be honest, I'm not advocating for this, but if the treble 20 hitting dries up for John Henderson at any point,
100.
I mean, he can still score 120 points a throw just by hitting tops every time.
Should we just change the rules to double start?
Yeah.
We may as well give Henderson the title now.
100.
Well, 75% on his doubles. He did miss one at tops, but he hit it with the next dart, so visit perfect.
84.
There's that inviting first start that Jamie Kelling likes, but there's a big drop off at the
125.
second. Adjusts well with dart number 3.
$140.
But Jamie Kelling now with work to do.
59.
John Henderson did hit a 100 checkout yesterday against Lee Cox. Just trading exclusively in binary checkouts, a 110 and a 101 as well.
137.
We saw 12 ton toppers yesterday in 10 games. We've already got our first.
96. John Newcar, 40.
Tops for the match, and it's going in. Come on, John.
20.
Well, this time,
121.
Old Faithful lets him down. And it will have to be double 10 if this 121 isn't found.
57. John Newcar, 20.
Double 5. Now this is
10.
getting a little bit messy now for
Jim
John
Newcar,
Henderson. He was so
64.
good on the doubles up to the last couple of visits. Tops letting him down. 10's letting him down. He's had a poke at 5s too.
And he could be about to be punished. Well, that should be a good guide for Jamie Kelling. And
48.
can't quite use
Johnny
it.
O'Carr, 10.
Well, he's already had 6 match starts, Hendo. But gets the win
Getting shot on
with the
mark, John
9th.
Henderson.
And John Henderson struggled a little bit towards the end to close that one out, but was in control from start to finish, and once again operating so efficiently at the top of the board. An 87 on the bull to get him started, and then a 13 darter from Kelling in response, but a 14 dart reply, including a tops finish and then a 100 checkout tops the highlights for Big John Henderson, who takes it by 4 legs to 1. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Every dart live and free here on Pluto TV. And we are in the throes of Group B, where we will see 3 players progress through to Saturday night and finals night. Lee Cox is hoping that he's one of them. Big John Henderson has kicked us off with a victory. Scott Campbell up after this. He's top of the group overnight. And Lee Cox, 14-1 with the bookies to win the group outright. George Cressy a little bit further behind him in terms of the odds. But it seems to me like it's that 3rd spot, which is the one that these two will be vying for. But which one of these will secure it. Still plenty of darts left to be thrown, but considering Jamie Kelling has lost another match, it seems unlikely that it's going to be him. So, a victory
First
for
leg
either of
leader
these
through
two players
first.
against the other could
Game
be
on.
absolutely massive, Laura, for their hopes of making it back here tomorrow.
Yeah, Lee Cox yesterday managed to pick up 2 wins out of the 4 matches. This was one of the wins that he got in
125.
4-2 victory in the penultimate match of, well, it happened in the early hours of this morning. As for George, it was just the one solitary win over Jamie Kelling.
140.
But just a reminder, George is here on debut, and he was really impressive in Group A. Played well last night, but again, a bit like
58.
Jamie Kelling, did not translate into wins.
Now, Laura, yesterday we had Trina Gulliver with us in the commentary box, and I asked her a pretty important question.
140.
What do George Cressy's flights remind you of? I said they remind me of James
85.
Wade's old flights, you know, the Union Jack ones. I also said it reminded me of something else, but I just want to get your take on what his flights remind you of first.
Not really sure. I'm not sure if this is a trick question.
Well, we get a good look at them there because he's thrown 3 of them into the 60 for a 180. Jerry Halliwell's dress from the Spice Girls.
I was still in a
51.
dart-orientated
Georgia Cal,
mindset when you
41.
said that.
Noel Gallagher's guitar. Proper Union flag stuff from George Cressy.
9.
Lee Cox actually has Union flag flights as well. They're just a little more greyed out.
80. Georgia Cal, 32.
Double 16 for Cressy and a 1-0 lead, which would also be a break.
Game shot in
Top corner,
first leg, George
buries it.
Cressy.
1-0.
Second leg, George to throw first. Game on.
The one thing we noticed about George Cressy is he does not give much away.
Well, which is in contrast to how he used to be, allegedly. Trina was telling me that back in
100.
his younger years, he tended to be the sort of player that would get sucked into antics and embroiled in a battle away from the dartboard with
85.
his opponent. But now you see very little from him, win or lose, when it comes to legs. He might give it a little bit if he's won a match and it's significant. We might see that later on if he does win this particular contest. But
140.
in the game, very little, as you say.
Yeah, I remember back in the BDO days, he would partner up with the legend
100.
Andy Fordham. But in recent months, he has had a little bit of a breakaway. He's only been back playing for a short period of time. And
One of them, 40.
I'll be honest, when his darts are flowing, you wouldn't necessarily know that.
One of them,
Wow.
George covered in 21.
Lee Cox just equalising the max count at 1 apiece.
$74.
Well, made a little
Rio
bit of a
Carlin,
mess of it
36.
towards the tail end. But he will get away with it. Will be coming back because Lee Cox can't convert the 136. Looking to set up, trying to find a way through to the treble 20.
60. Georgia Cal, 47.
15 leaves 32, and he hit this in the last leg.
15.
Not
Rio Cal,
successful
76.
this time. Cox to break back. Tops it is.
36. Georgia Cal, 32.
First start at the outer ring for Lee Cox. And just a bit too high.
Getting shot on the second leg, George
And
Cressy.
Cressy doubles his lead. 2 legs to
Third
nil.
leg leader through first. Game on.
That a 17 dart leg, but Lee Cox
59.
was in with a sniff, just that single dart tops. Hasn't been practicing much by his own admission, Lee Cox. Spoke about John Henderson having a
60.
few back issues. Lee Cox is in the same camp. Actually waiting for a scan on his back. That's how significant it is. He has had damage to vertebrae in the past. He's had 2 prolapse
100.
discs previously, a few years back. And so some days he says he struggles to get out of bed and get up and about, let alone thinking about hitting the practice board. So the only practice he has been
45.
having recently is match practice. So he maybe felt a little bit undercooked coming into this Group B campaign.
180.
But if you can score like that with not much practice, then you're going to give yourself a chance to win legs. Even though he's left himself a bogey number.
140.
Does have the advantage in this one.
Yeah, just double checking the score. 40 scored, 122 left.
60.
Can't find a big treble. He's first to a finish, but Cressy could put some pressure on here if he could find a couple of big trebles himself.
Just one.
60.
Only
Leah Carr,
60.
102.
And it means it's only 196, which you can't clear up. Double 16. Nicely
on the
done.
third
Lee
leg,
Cox, a
Lee Cox.
102, featuring the bullseye.
Fourth leg, Josh, you through first. Game
And
on.
Max in the leg as well.
One of them, 40.
Yeah, that's for Lee Cox. He is a regular here at the Live Lounge. And he is one of those
100.
players that when he does make it through to finals night, he does have a little entourage, a little following that come down to support him.
One of them, 80.
Into leg 4, that's maximum 4. 2 apiece.
Could be maximum number 5.
135.
Oh, almost.
$145.
Do owe Cox an apology because yesterday I said he was on 288 Super Series
133.
games heading into
Georgia
the
Carr,
campaign. It was actually
36.
228, so I've done him out of 60 games there. I think he thought he was approaching the 300 mark.
Getting shown the
Double
fourth
9
leg, Josh
pinned by
Cressy.
Cressy, and he takes the
Fifth leg
3-1
leader
lead.
through first. Game on.
Yeah, takes it in 11 darts as well. That's some response to losing a leg. Lee Cox now will have to dig deep to try and stay in this fixture.
97.
Brilliant last 3 visits of that leg for George Cressy. A 180,
57.
145, and then 36 with his first dart. Or a second dart, I should say, because he went double 9, didn't he? So, excellently done.
140.
Well, when you go into the last session and you're never quite sure what to expect from players. Some players can really up their levels to try and give themselves the best
44.
opportunity. Some crumble under the pressure. Well, I have to say tonight it's been a really solid start. Had that opening game between Kelling and Henderson, and then these two not disappointing at all.
Lee Cox, 96.5 the average. George Cressy, 97.
60. $95.
Cox with a 3-dart combo.
95.
Only needs
Leah
the
Carr,
singular
109.
treble. That treble is treble 20. Big 17 is double 16 left.
77.
Yeah, not adding the 109 to the 102. He's already hit this match, but once again on throw, it's a good response from Lee Cox.
100. Leah Carr, 32. Getting shot on the
Wrapped
fifth
it
leg,
up
Leacock.
on double 16.
Sixth leg, George to
We
through
said
first.
this game could be
on.
really important to determine who makes it back here tomorrow, and these two are playing exactly that way. Cressy exercising the lead. He went 2-0 up. Cox
100.
pulled it back to make it 2-1. Then an 11-darter from Cressy to make it 3-1 before that response from Cox there on double 16 makes it 3-2.
44.
He needs the breaker throw, Lee Cox, if he's going to take this to a last leg decider.
And it's not the ideal start for Lee. Only 44 points compared to the ton from Cressy.
93.
And how important might that last start be?
Really important if he comes up dry here. He's going to persevere. Oh, and he sneaks
100.
a treble 20.
And that comes back to a conversation we were having earlier on in Group C, that you have to trust your darts. You have to know where they're going to land, because that to me looked almost awkward. They were like
81.
two gatekeepers of the treble 20.
Yeah. My house isn't big enough to have two gatekeepers.
99.
I don't even have a gate.
No, me neither.
Thought you were going to say I've got gargoyles on top, I've got a big hedge, everything.
I've got a driveway.
Alsatians on chains.
I mean, I live in Surrey, but not that part of Surrey.
100. Georgia Carr, 127.
127 left. But it won't be end game on this occasion for Cressy.
55. Leah Carr, 158.
Yeah, the 158 not going to go. Just needs to try and pressurise the 72.
45. Georgia
That's not
Carr,
ideal for
72.
Cox.
Well, he's gone next door twice. Wrong segment twice there.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of
40.
adrenaline as the
Leah
finish
Carr,
line was
113.
looming. Well, the 102 was a bit of a skin saver. Needs to add the 113, and it's a big pull with the second dart.
43. Georgia Carr, 32.
To win the match, and a big match. As we look to figure out who goes through to Saturday night, will it be Cressy later on this evening? Couple of match starts missed. It's now 8-8.
Getting shot in the
And
match,
that one
George
is bang
Cressy.
on the money. And George Cressy gets the big win over Lee Cox. An important win for him. He stretched into a 2-0 lead. Lee Cox did respond, but the 11-darter from George Cressy to make him 3-1 in front. That was the key leg, and what a brilliant leg it was. A good game of darts, both averaging near 90, and it's George Cressy who wins it. So it's Group B at the Modus Super Series here in Week 5. And the man who you can see the top of his head there, retrieving his darts, is Scott Campbell. There he is. He is more than just eyebrows and hair. Jamie Kelling, his opponent, who has already lost his opening game and has lost the chance to qualify for Saturday night. But this man is in command of the group. He ran the card yesterday, won every single one of his games, 4 from 4. And he knows what that means. He knows that he just needs a couple more results. And he's through to Saturday night. Made the long trip down from his home in Aberdeen yesterday in preparation for competing in Group B yesterday evening.
First leg, Jamie to throw
first. He flies
first.
down from Aberdeen to Gatwick Airport. He gets the train here to Portsmouth, and he gets collected from the station by a 5-time weekly champion, Steve West. He stays with Westy.
121.
And by all accounts, playing darts is not the only thing that Scott Campbell is good at. Allegedly, I'm told, he's a very good chef. And one of the perks of being put
55.
up by Westy, or at least one of the perks that Westy gets, is he gets Scott Campbell to cook him some dinner. Although there was a disaster. He ordered the ingredients on Uber Eats, and they never arrived. So Scott Campbell's culinary skills have been put on ice. He had a bit of a dodgy time of it getting in a taxi as well that went 10 minutes in the wrong direction and got stuck in traffic. And he was thinking, I've had a terrible day. Until he came here. And then he beat everyone. And now he's hitting maximums in the first leg of his first match of day 2 in Group B. And he's looking really good for qualification. So it's not all that bad, is it?
No, I'm just wondering if we tend to say bad luck comes in threes. Maybe his flight was delayed and that taxi drive in was the last thing that was going to be unfortunate to happen to Scott Campbell.
The worst thing is the ingredients for the curry. I mean, I'd
For
be
Steve
beside
West.
myself. Yeah, if I was Westy.
Yeah, there is probably another feature that we could possibly do here at the Live Lounge, because I've heard that there are quite a few good cooks that come down here.
100.
You've got the likes of Ted Evans with his baking. You've got, I'm pretty sure that Jeff Smith was cooking up a bit of a storm as well over at Westy's house. Westy gets the best of everything here, doesn't he?
Has Westy got an
140,
industrial grade
80.
kitchen or something? It's the new Ainsley Harrier. It's proper ready, steady cook kind of stuff.
Well, this visit here may just
24.
be summing up
Shot the car,
Jamie
68.
Kelling's Group B campaign, because off of 80, he should have a shot at a double, and now he's left the door wide open for Scott Campbell.
Well, speaking of ready, steady cook, he wants red tomatoes.
48. Jamie O'Carr, 56.
You were so hoping if it was a miss, it was going to go in a green, right?
Yeah. I was always a green peppers kind of man.
Getting shot on the first leg,
Tops is
Jamie
found
Kelly.
by Jamie Kelling
Second
for a
leg, Scott
1-0
to throw
lead.
first. Game on.
And Scott Campbell, despite hitting a maximum in that leg, ends up losing it. Didn't have a dart at tops to win it, but he does trail.
$55.
Well, already Jamie Kelling faring better in this fixture than he did yesterday, because you mentioned that perfection
40.
that Scott Campbell had on the outer ring. It was in this match. It was a 4-0 defeat over Jamie Kelling, an average just shy of 102. Ton plus checkouts galore.
57.
Got pinged by 4 ton plus checkouts as well, Kelling,
58.
in yesterday's matches. Cressy hit a 105 and a 107 against him in the same game. Scott Campbell with a 116 to go 1-0 up on him yesterday when
100.
these two squared off. And Big John Henderson with a 101 finish against Jamie as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jamie's just upset some
139.
of them in the back room, because he just seems to have been on the end of some big performances. And I'll be honest, I know Jamie, I can't imagine him upsetting anybody, to be perfectly honest.
43. Jamie Carwood and
Well,
64.
this might upset Scott if it goes in. 61st.
Well, didn't have to go for it because he's so
132.
far in front.
Which I understand, but also, why not go for it? You're bottom of the group. You're unlikely to qualify. I mean, it's sensible darts. It's professional darts. But
60.
come on,
Jamie
Jamie.
Carr,
The
32.
164 was on. Finds the
Finish on
green
second leg,
peppers
Jamie
for
Kelly.
2-0.
Anyone
leg, Jamie,
that is
sorry,
just
third leg,
tuning in
Jamie to
right
throw
now will
first.
have no idea what that's about.
I had to say it once. I won't be saying it again.
You're trying to kind of coin your own phrase. I mean, they all started somewhere. The champagne shot, the
85.
big fish, the little fish, Madhouse. Niall's bringing us green peppers and red tomatoes.
You wait, in the next couple of years, all the kids, all
100.
the JDC boys and girls, all the academies will be saying it. Just you wait.
They'll be saying, what's Ready Steady Cook? I've never heard of it before.
140. $134.
Jamie Kelling 2-0 up on the group leader, and he's averaging 102 and a bit. And that 180 will nudge his average up to 108. It's yet another maximum for Kelling. He has been by far and away the best ton 80 hitter in this group. And that's saying something when you're up against a man in Scott Campbell who's known for his scoring, particularly in that incredible 9-dart shootout where he hit 2 maximums. That was one of the great Modus Super Series moments.
Jamie Carr 96.
Yeah, it really was. You talk about composure under pressure. Pairing up with the other Scott in this group in John Henderson in that version of the international pairs.
80. Scott
That
Carr,
is his first dart missed at double. Was perfect up till then. 2 from 2. Well, no panic or worry across the face of Scott Campbell because he knows
49.
he did so well
Jimmy
yesterday
Carr,
and winning all of
16.
his matches that he does have a bit of a buffer. He can afford to lose a game. But he's not
14.
3-0 down yet.
Jimmy Carr,
And he might not be
96.
3-0 down at all. Campbell having a look at this 96, which Kelling has been trying to get down from a couple of visits now.
Right. Can only set up from
56.
this position.
Jimmy
Coming back
Carr,
for the
2.
Madhouse. Well, that is what you'd call a safe dart, but
No
it's
score.
an over-adjustment.
40.
Kelling at the background can't
He's
even
on the third
look.
leg,
He's
Scott
got his
Campbell.
back to the board, and that's the reason why he
Fourth leg,
spurred
Scott is through
6
first.
darts at a double in that match, or in that leg, sorry. And then
Game
you see the
on.
reaction. Not even looking on.
So annoying. It must be so annoying when that happens. But it does happen.
91.
And I guess one of the things you want to do as a dart player is just reduce the amount of times that does happen. Because it does
81.
happen to everyone. It's not something that people are immune from, but if you can kind of make those sorts of legs fewer and fewer and fewer, that is going to stand your game in good stead.
123.
Darts in principle is a very simple game. It's a very simple concept. It's 501 points and you're holding a little bit of metal in your hand and you're trying to throw it at the same
40.
target every time. In practice, it is very difficult indeed. Some of these players do not make it look as difficult as it is.
Well, the great Bobby George, he's a bit of a quote machine, and I love some of the quotes that he's come out
77.
with. The most famous one, of course, doubles for dough, etc., etc. But perhaps my favourite Bobby George quote is, darts is a very easy game
60.
to play. It's a very difficult game to play well. And I think that sums things up pretty nicely.
Yeah, and especially if you're a player like Jamie coming into this match, you haven't picked up a game and then things just start going really well and then they stop midway through a game. You start
54.
thinking, right, why did that happen? What did I do so well in the first two and so wrong there? And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it is just, your darts just land a fraction of an inch, in the wrong direction.
59.
But as soon as you start thinking as a dart player, that can be just dangerous.
Double 18.
138.
I didn't give it as much of a chance as he probably should have done.
No, and he has gone inside.
60.
Jamie
Shot
Kelling's
the
not on a
car,
finish, so
18.
he could switch. He's having a good look. I think that gives you an indication. If Jamie Kelling was on a finish, I think Scott Campbell may
Game
have gone
shot on the
straight for it,
fourth
but
leg.
because
Scott
he
Campbell.
had time, he had the luxury to just burn a
Fifth leg
dart.
Jamie to throw first. Game on.
That levels up this game. And the curious nature of this format
100.
is it's actually not so much about this game for Scott Campbell against Jamie Kelling. It's actually more about the next game for him against Lee Cox. He knows if he wins that game against Lee Cox that he will be going through to Saturday night, because it's all about the distance
60.
he can put between himself and the players chasing him. Still yet to play Big John Henderson, of course. That might end up being a head-to-head for who tops the group.
26.
Yeah, there's an irony here that it really doesn't matter ultimately what Scott Campbell does against Jamie Kelling, because we won't know any more until that game against Lee Cox.
One of the curiosities of the format.
One of them 40.
A reminder that Ash Coleman and Kieran Ford made it through from Group C to Saturday night. Tommy the Gun, Tommy Morris, has had his feet up for a couple of days.
One of them 40.
He smashed everyone to bits in Group A. The best Group A campaign we've ever seen statistically. We've seen a number of players win 14 games out of 15.
38.
Nathan Potter did it quite recently as well. But never to the extent in terms of legs difference and legs won that Tommy Morris has done. Numbers-wise, he
24.
tops the pile.
Jamie Kelling kind of gesticulating in the background. He's a very frustrated figure because it was in cruise control at 2-0. 6 darts missed to go 3-0 up over the guy that is at the top of the table that
121.
ran through the card yesterday, that beat him 4-0 yesterday. He had the opportunity to go within one without dropping a leg, and those 6 darts have just changed the complete
99.
dynamic of
Scott
this
Car,
match.
142.
Where's he looking here? It is 17s.
$102.
Well, it's a
Jimmy
great
Carr,
shot in the end
112.
to leave himself tops. Needs to travel for double 16, doesn't hit it. So Campbell
88.
starting
Scott
on the
Carr, 40.
17s in the last visit, managing to set up to leave himself tops. Now double 10.
$20. Jimmy Carr, 24.
No. And that was a break opportunity.
That's the first attempt that Kelling has had at a double since missing all of those ones to go 3-0 up.
Game shot on the fifth
He
leg, Jamie
rectifies
Kelly.
it and does find his third leg.
Sixth leg, Scott to throw first. Game on.
Yes, Jamie Kelling managing to locate that elusive
85.
third leg. It's hiding in plain sight for him.
$60.
Should have been in this position long ago, as you say, missed a whole host of darts. Mind you, Scott Campbell did miss a few darts at double as well.
119.
Yeah, missed one in the first. Missed three in that previous leg, but I just felt that, I don't want to say the word
100.
momentum, but for want of a better word, just felt that it was all going Kelling's way up to missing those darts for 3-0.
Well, momentum is a funny concept in sport,
50.
isn't it? Some people believe in it, some people don't
59.
believe in it. And I can see both sides of the argument. If you fired a bullet at a wall, the wall will stop the bullet. The wall
43.
isn't moving, it's got no momentum, but it stops something that does have momentum. But if you put 10 cardboard boxes in the way of the bullet is going to rip through all of those cardboard boxes. So I can see both arguments. You get the sense that someone with confidence is maybe a better
81.
way to approach the conversation, because that is absolutely critical. I mean, John Henderson was talking about it earlier on. He's feeling so good on tops that with 80 left, he's going
60.
tops because
Shot the
he's
car,
confident. He wouldn't have
157.
done that otherwise had he not been hitting them so regularly.
No, absolutely. Well, in that case, then, missing those 6 darts for 3-0 shattered the confidence that was developing for Jamie Kelly.
95.
And Scott Campbell looks like he's on track to force
59.
a last leg
Shot the
decider.
car, 62.
To level the game, he needs double 4.
54.
Well, I'm not sure Scott Campbell is a huge fan of throwing across his body to that
85.
side of the
Scott the
board.
car,
I think he's
8.
mentioned before he's not a huge double 10 lover.
Game shot
Double
on
4
the
will
sixth leg,
do
Scott Campbell.
because it levels the game and takes us to a last leg decider.
So with the final leg, Jamie to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, and I guess if that's the case, then why opt for the 54 if you don't like that side of the board? Perhaps it's just throwing maybe down on that side.
100.
I just think sometimes it's unavoidable. You know, some players are so honed in on their favourite double. You know, if it's double 16, for example, and they hate tops, they'll try and avoid tops. But there are some scenarios where you can't not leave 40. That's just the way that the game is. And
64.
percentages don't always work in your favour when it comes to throwing at your favourite double. Maths doesn't take into consideration what your favourite double is. That's for you to figure out.
180.
Well, it's the second consecutive match where Jamie Kelling has managed to find 2 maximums. Finds it at the perfect time.
81. $60.
It might not be the first leg, actually.
100. Jimmy Carberton, 61. $84.
Now, not that one Scotsman would wish defeat on another, but
43.
in the back room before
Jamie
Scott
Carr,
Campbell took to the
77.
stage, he would have watched Jamie Kelling's opening match against John Henderson, knowing that if Hendo had lost to Kelling, it would have sent Campbell all but through.
67.
And Campbell is still the favourite to make it through. He was favourite with the bookies to win Group B outright, but he might lose his opening game of the evening because match starts have been missed by Jamie Kelling, and he's going to have more of them at double five.
139, Jamie car 10.
That looks like a great guide. Hasn't been able to use it with dart 2.
5.
And
Scott car 74.
more frustration for Jamie Kelling. Match darts come and gone.
Well, for Jamie, he just wants to win a match. He just wants to win one game. Get that monkey off the back. He's not played badly over the last day or two. He just hasn't won. Scott Campbell has won every single one of his games, but he's missed big 20, which means he won't be able to throw for tops, which means
34.
he won't get a match
Jamie
start.
car 5.
And Kelling now has 5 and more opportunities to get that elusive first win. Awkward.
1. Scott car
2
40.
awkward. Now Campbell does get a look at tops for the match and another Group B win. It's a game that Scott Campbell should have lost. It's why he's shaking his head, but he walks off the stage victorious yet again. 4 wins from 4 yesterday, winning his first game here tonight, and Scott Campbell is on the precipice, on the cusp of qualification for Saturday night here in Portsmouth. Jamie Kelling, you've got to feel for him. He missed a bunch of match darts there, still hasn't won a fixture in Group B. Scott Campbell takes it by 4 legs to 3. Scott Campbell is still 100% when it comes to wins in Group B. Before the break, we saw him beat Jamie Kelling by 4 legs to 3. It was a game he should have lost. He survived match darts, and Kelling is still chasing his first victory, 7 in the end. He managed to shake off in terms of match darts from Kelling. And from one Scotsman to another, the Highlander, John Henderson, started the evening off in impressive fashion. He was first up against Jamie Kelling, and it was a 4-1 win. There was a 14 darter in there. There was a tops finish on 100. He won another leg on tops. He has just been operating so efficiently at the top end of the dartboard. Took him until his 9th match dart to get over the line against Jamie Kelling, but he did get the win, and it puts him, a bit like Scott Campbell, on the verge of qualification. It could potentially, with a win here, even take him through to Saturday. We're still trying to do the maths to confirm exactly what the conundrum is for qualification. But nevertheless, as we try and get
140
numericals sorted, a win for Henderson, if it doesn't put him through, Laura, it will be as close as through, and it will do him some real good.
97.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, in theory, if it takes Henderson through, it would also take Scott Campbell through, his international pairs partner, which means it would just be a battle for that 3rd place.
And George Cressy beat Lee Cox earlier on, and we said that could be a huge game with permutation for 3rd place. So,
41.
As it stands then, John Henderson knows if he wins, he will go through to Saturday as qualified, and he will take his mate from Scotland, Scott Campbell, with him as well. So not for the first time, John Henderson is throwing not only for himself, but for his whole country, because Scott Campbell is also relying on him as well.
Well, let's be honest. When it came to that 9-dart shootout, it was Scott Campbell that did the heavy lifting with those 2 180s. So perhaps Hendo could, just this will be a nice gift back for Scott Campbell.
96.
Well, strangely, Scott Campbell would have been... Well, he never wants John Henderson to lose unless he's playing against him, but John Henderson losing his opening game tonight against Jamie Kelling would have actually done Scott Campbell a favour. Would have taken him through in the very first game.
The first leg, George Cressy.
But Hendo is behind.
Second leg, John to through first.
Because George has hit a double, which the Highlander has not been missing much. And that double is tops.
Yeah, 13 dart, hold a throw for George Cressy, a player that's in the ascendancy today. Won his first match 4 legs to 2 and playing himself into a good position on the table.
There was an 11 darter in that match, and even though it was really good stuff from George Cressy, he's kind of got this way about him, and I think that goes back to what you were saying before about the lack of animosity when it comes to celebration. Very level-headed with how he operates. It was almost under the radar, wasn't it, that performance? A little bit clandestine when you consider 100. He averaged nearly 90. He had that 11 darter in there as well. Maybe better than we gave it credit for.
44.
Yeah, the 11 darter came to win the match as well. So, yeah, George Cressy is definitely kind of group by group showing more and more improvement. Finds himself in a very tough group, but finds himself in quite a good position. But as we've alluded to, even at the top of the show, we still felt this was always going to be a fight between the bottom 3 for 3rd place.
John Carwood, 64. $60. $137. John Nicole, 104.
Good visit from Cressy, but it's a solid response in terms of the leg from Henderson. Looking at 104, this will be for a single 4 because he has had tops on a string.
64. George Nicole, 150.
And he's not a million miles away there either. Great start to the 150. Oh, so close to adding a second in that 60 bed.
98. Jonica 40.
Hendo back for tops. Double 10.
20. Jonica 52.
Well, we've seen glimpses of the brilliant doubling from yesterday from Henderson tonight. We've also seen some shakier stuff.
Game shot in the second leg, George
puts
Cressy.
Cressy 2-0 up on
Third
the
leg, George
Highlander.
to throw first. Game on.
Now, obviously, we've spoken
100.
a bit about the two players at the top of the table, and Scott Campbell and John Henderson, and what that would do for them if Hendo gets the win. But for George, if he manages to get a win, he'll put himself 2 points clear of Lee Cox
97.
in third place on the table, just 2 points behind John Henderson. So it starts to make, once again, for very interesting reading. If he holds this result, the players' points will be 10, 8, 6, 4. Quite a neat little pattern down the side. But it just means everyone, in terms of, well, still, we don't know anything much more than what we did beforehand.
$59.
This is only the
100.
fourth game of the night, and there are 6 more to come. Morris, Coleman, and Ford
134.
Already.
Joshua 161.
into the finals night tomorrow in Portsmouth.
95.
Who makes up the final 3?
Oh, John Henderson absolutely dominated this match between the two of them yesterday, winning 4 legs to 1. One of the 2 games that Henderson had where he
79.
had perfection on
Georgia
the outer ring. Well,
66.
he was 4 from 4 yesterday in this match. He's 0 from 4 here, and it's Cressy looking to go 3-0 up. Tops for 3-0.
46. Jonica 132.
Starting on the middle. Can't finish now. Line was really good. Just a little too strong from John Henderson.
He should go over for a 12 here.
92. Georgia 20.
I think that just threw him. Because in the back of your mind, you're thinking straight ton, you know you're on a double.
$10. Jonica 40.
Now, tops has been going all group for Henderson, but not in this match. Marker. And he's
Game
back
shot
on
third
board
leg,
with it
John
this
Henderson.
time. Could easily have been 3-0
Fourth
Cressy.
leg, John to throw
Instead,
first.
it's 2-1 Henderson. It's the breaker throw. Remember, if John Henderson wins, he qualifies for Saturday night and takes his Scottish partner, Scott Campbell, with him.
85.
Yeah, already we're not quite at the halfway stage, and there's some high stakes games going on in terms of qualification.
140.
Well, that's an inviting first start for John Henderson. Just a bit too much to the
123.
right with dart 2, but back in the red bit with dart number 3.
$140. $96.
The match is quite delicately
57.
poised at this point. Henderson Well, despite George getting down to a finish, you feel like Henderson's going to be on something a bit more attainable than 164 when he returns. If he returns.
97. Georgia Car
The
164.
percentages say you were right to use the word when. This is a 2% shot, maybe less. One of the hardest in darts.
98. Johnny Car 100.
Now, if he goes single 20, oh no, he's not even done that. I put the mockers on him there. He's already done single 20 for tops today to take out 100.
40.
That's a
Georgia Car
nightmare for Hendo
66.
because he's now at risk of being broken and trailing 3-1.
Yeah, 100 points left. There's only one dart you don't want to find with your first dart, and John Henderson found it. George Cressy looking to find double 18.
30.
Well, how close was he to
Car
busting
60.
that? Oh, again.
20.
Well, he does eventually
Georgia
scratch
Car
his way to
36.
tops. Should have had more darts at it. He's annoyed with himself, Henderson.
Gage on the fourth leg,
That's
George
why, because he
Cressy.
does trail 3-1.
Fifth leg, George to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, that was
134.
2 consecutive visits at the back end of that for John Henderson, where first dart trails into the big one and just cost him those additional darts at a double.
Now, that doesn't happen very often for a
45.
player like John Henderson. Why does that happen? Is he already thinking about the double? Like, the single is so immaterial. I mean, really, he could have hit the 60 and thrown for double 10, but to do it twice, is he already thinking
125.
about, right, I'm on for tops? Is that what it is? Just a lapse of concentration?
I
or-
was going to say lapse of concentration could be the key point because you're thinking ahead. You have to make sure, how many times do we say
94.
make sure of the single number, make sure of the big number. But there was a bit of an outlier in terms of matches back on the very first day. John Henderson averaging around the 65 mark in a match
58.
against Danny Lauby, which for some reason he was playing so consistently and so well and then just dropped off in terms of form. We say about his match sharpness, we didn't see any kind of fatigue yesterday, but this is day
100.
5 for John Henderson, playing darts consecutively in terms of days. It can sometimes take its toll, but hopefully it's just for a short period of time and it doesn't extend throughout the evening.
100.
I've seen some data on hitting the big number, and it's only about a 4 or 5% difference between
92.
the players who
Georgia
hit the
Car
big number the
84.
most when going for finishes and the one who miss it the most. So it doesn't happen that often, not as often as you might think. Double
Gage
12
on the
found,
mark,
and
George
Cressy
Cressy.
finds the win, an 84 check out to seal it. And John Henderson knew that if he had won that game, he would have gone through to Saturday night and he would have pulled Scott Campbell through to finals night with him. In the end, it's defeat for the Highlander, who will have to wait if he is going to qualify. Cressy might still go through. That's a big win for his campaign. He wins 4-1. We're still yet to figure out who's first through from Group B. Will it be the group leader, Super Scotty Campbell on the oche again and looking to get himself through to Saturday night against Lee Cox, who potentially could also qualify. George Cressy, though, with an important win over the Highlander John Henderson before the break. Hendo knew a win for him would have taken both himself and Scott through. Isn't the case. Scott's fate is in his own hands. Win this game and he is through to Saturday night. Lee Cox knows a defeat would be bad news for his hopes. So both players
First leg,
needing the
Scott's
win
through
for
first.
different reasons, although
Game on.
the aim is the exact same, qualify for Saturday. Scott Campbell has so much experience, but so does Lee Cox. One player is in better form than the other, and Scott Campbell was probably lucky to come out of his last game against Jamie Kelling with the 2 points. I say
57.
probably lucky, Laura. He was lucky. There's no two ways about it.
He was very lucky indeed. He should have found himself 3 legs to 0 down, but Kelling missed 6 starts in
45.
leg number 3 and then missed 7 to see out the match when it was levelled at 3 apiece. So, yeah, you could see the relief on the face of Scott Campbell. He got opportunities I don't think he thought he was going to get, but
85.
that is the idea of the game. It's not over till it's over, and when you're presented a chance, you've got to take it. And Scott Campbell did such that.
60.
Yeah, that's for Lee Cox. He was steady in his game against George Cressy. Ended up losing 4 legs to 2. Had a tidy 102 finish
137.
in there as well, but was just always maybe just a throw behind. The timing wasn't right for Lee Cox.
100.
Trying to analyse how Cox will be
52.
feeling.
$54. Scott Carwood and 70.
Because by his own admission, he's not had much practice and he wasn't expecting much from this group. We were expecting another treble 20 from Scott there. Hits the ball anyway for good
130.
measure. But even though you can tell yourself, I'm not expecting much, I'm not expecting to do that well, I'm just going to go up there and try and compete as best I can, doesn't make it any less annoying for you when that
140.
actually
Got
does
down
transpire.
40.
Even though you've told yourself, I'm not expecting a great deal. Campbell
He's on
hits
the
tops
first
to
leg,
take
Scott
the opening
Campbell.
leg with the darts.
Second leg leader through first.
But
Game
I do
on.
think Lee will always come here with, I'm going to say hope, but realistically it's expectation of at least making it through to a Saturday.
It's the competitor inside every dart player, isn't it? It's, well, I'm not going to do that well.
One of
But
them
when you
40.
don't do that well, even if you've said that outwardly, it's still really, really irritating. Had to be a max for Scott Campbell. First dart was absolutely spot on. Followed it with 2 more.
100.
Hang about. Oh, he's unlucky. He
135.
deflects into the treble 5 instead.
Yeah, but 5 perfect darts from Scott Campbell in a leg where Lee Cox threw first.
91.
Things are starting to look rather difficult for the crafty Coxie.
$100. Leo Carwood and 70.
We did see
44.
6 perfect darts
Scott Car 86.
here at the Live Lounge yesterday. Stay on the 18s. Bullseye.
51.
Well, Lee
Lee
Cox is
Carwood
waiting in
and
the wings. He's
26.
got 126 just to hold throw to level things up. He's going to need that treble 19. It's just dropped a fraction below.
54. Scott Car 35.
Big three. Oh no, Scott. But it's okay.
Getting shot on the second leg, Scott Campbell.
It's okay. He wanted 3 for double 16.
Third leg, Scott to throw first.
In the end, he's got a target to throw out anyway. It's as good as the same thing, isn't it, really?
Come
They're
on.
all next door to each other.
It's kind of one of those shots that you think, right, I want the 3, but I'm going to err towards the side of caution, throw near the 19 wire, because they're both all around the same place.
Well, there are multiple
40.
reasons why you'd want the 3 rather than the 19. Yes, both singles do leave you a shot. But 3 leaves you double 16, where if you miss in the wrong double and you hit the wrong bed, you've still got a shot. If you hit
30.
double 8, you can go at it again. He's chuntering to himself there. Lee Cox.
35.
I still think, even though you can choose to go big 19, double 8, I still think 3 double 16 is the right play, isn't it?
You'd never go for the 19 because ultimately the treble that's in that bed will bust you your score.
80.
But it's a bit, to me, it's a bit of the kind of 10 and 6 theory. When you've got something like 42 left, you're going to aim for the 10. But there is something subconsciously with dart players that they quite often hit the 6 because they know that they've got that luxury
100.
of 2 beds.
$96.
Yeah, some players would just aim for the wire, won't they? Just aim for the wire and just hope that you drift one side or the other.
$96.
Yeah, players have their own routes. I've got a few alternative ones that I like to just throw in every so often.
He's got a bad back, Lee
Yeah.
Cox. Gingerly bends down to pick up his
133.
drop
Scott the Car
dart.
130.
Another or a single. Double 5.
120. Lee Car 62.
Did hit a 130 outshot yesterday on double 5. Scott Campbell. Tops for Cox.
22. Scott the Car 10.
That is a
6.
disastrous
Lee
dart
Carr,
for
40.
Scott Campbell because it does give Lee Cox a shot at the top of the board and he
Each on the
finds it
third
right
leg,
in the
Lee
middle of the
Cox.
bed.
Fourth leg leader through first.
Tops for Cox is found.
Game on. One of them 40.
Campbell still in control. But Cox
41.
still in with a shout.
Well, we can see how easily some of these games where you
100.
think there is a dominant player on one side that they can turn around. And I take you back to that game where Jamie Kelling looked in cruise control, looking like he was going 3-0 up, and Scott Campbell dug deep and managed to turn the result around in the
One of
end.
them 40.
It's never over till it's over.
Campbell averaging over 93. Cox 90.5. It's a good quality contest. Just the 2 darts at
135.
double for Lee Cox. And as you can see, he's got the one leg, so he's hit one of them.
One of them 40. Lee Car 126.
Wow, it doesn't have to go the 19s route for this because Campbell's not on a finish.
86. 75. Leocar 40.
For parity
Each on the
at 2
fourth leg, Lee
apiece.
Cox.
And Lee Cox back
Fifth leg, Scott to
in
serve
the double
first.
top
Game on.
segment. Yeah, Lee Cox finding the best leg of the match in 13 darts. One of those games, first two going the way of Campbell. Cox
100.
bouncing back with the next two.
One of them, 40.
Remember, Campbell qualifies and will return tomorrow with a win. The odds are he will be back tomorrow anyway, but he needs a win. And then it is
100.
confirmed. But a win could be huge for Lee.
One of them, 40.
Yeah, as you say, important for both these players. But if Cox has got any ambition of making it through to tomorrow's finals, the disappointment would have
85.
come in that first game against Cressy where he lost 4-2. So now it just feels like it's ever so much more. There's more sense of urgency for Lee Cox.
60.
Down to a finish after 9. Campbell should be as well.
One of
Another
them,
2
40.
treble visit for Scott Campbell.
61.
Leaves him a potential 2-dart combination, so this might have to go. But it won't, because Cox is unable to locate the treble 17.
Car 76.
That would have given him a shot at the bullseye. Double 18 then.
58. Leocar 24.
Well, the setup play, the previous shot for Lee Cox was on point, and 24 is the
Getting
target.
on the
It's
fifth
Lee
leg, Lee
Cox
Cox.
in front for the very first time in this match. That's the
Six
third
leg leader through
consecutive
first.
leg for the crafty Coxie.
Game on.
Yeah, from 2-0 down to 3-2 up, and a breaker throw that gives him the darts to potentially win this 4-2 and keep himself in the hunt for qualification.
85.
And for Scott Campbell, who has just seen John Henderson lose, a result which, if it had gone the other way, could have taken him through, knew that if he won this, it would take him through. And both
100.
opportunities, respectively, one in his hands, one not in his hands, might well disappear in front of his eyes.
26.
A visit of 26 from Cox. There's a treble from Campbell.
77.
Just the 77, though. The average is still in the mid-90s for both
95.
players.
Yeah, it's been highly competitive from both. But Lee Cox on throw is just trying to make a break for the finish line.
What
For Scott Campbell's got other ideas. It's the second maximum for the Scottishman.
96. Scott Leocar 144. $100.
Needed, 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 and found the last treble.
And it's just amazing how quickly that big score, that 180, has turned things
99.
around in this deciding
Scott
leg.
Leocar 44.
It's not the deciding leg. It could soon be a deciding leg.
Well, second time he's missed the single target he was aiming at.
$28.
That was a
Leocar
dart
100.
to take it to that last leg decider. And Cox now wants tops.
80.
Couple of match
Scott
darts
Leocar
missed.
16.
He sulks his way to retrieve those arrows. Campbell given a chance. And it's a chance he takes. Breaks back. Level game.
The final leg, Scott
the man from Aberdeen, who has not lost a game yet in Group B, got out of jail against Jamie Kelling. He's got out of jail again there. And he might keep up his 100% record. If he wins this leg, he wins the match, and he wins a spot in Saturday night.
Yeah, you think all the darts and all the arrows that have been thrown over the course of this week, and for Scott Campbell, it could just come down to this one leg as to whether he secures a spot in finals night or not. Of course, he will have a couple of other games as backup 85. As we go along through the evening. Next game for Scott Campbell against John Henderson, and then he will see off his Group B campaign with a match against George Cressy.
One of them, 40.
Can see they're so level in the scoring.
100.
8 two-treble visits apiece.
And
134.
Like the first game for Lee Cox, where he lost 4 legs to 2. Feels a lot of this has just been about timing, and Scott Campbell's just timing everything perfectly in this deciding leg.
$139.
Clung on at times in this game, Scott Campbell. He was 2-0 up and then faced
90.
A Lee Cox comeback of 3 legs on the spin, including a 13 darter and a breaker throw in there. But now he has the opportunity to win again. Double 7. And Scott Campbell will be back in 24 hours' time for a shot at the weekly title. He has won yet another match here in Group B. He has been faultless, win after win after win, and that results in qualification for Saturday night. Well done to Scott Campbell, who was 2-0 down, or 2-0 up, I should say, on Lee Cox, and Lee Cox fought back to make it 3-2, but Scott Campbell showed guts of his own and wins it 4-3. He's through to Saturday night. Group B then is about to draw to its conclusion, and we will see who joins Scott Campbell as confirmed as through to Saturday night. It all started with the Highlander John Henderson, who continued his excellent finishing from yesterday. A 100 finish, including tops for a 4-2 win over Jamie Kelling. Then Lee Cox was beaten by George Cressy 4 legs to 2. Scott Campbell beating Jamie Kelling 4-3. Surviving match darts, surviving in general, but it was a win that got him through to Saturday night. And as for John Henderson, beaten by George Cressy 4-1, which means that he will have to wait for his spot in Saturday night. That was the game we just saw. George Cressy there taking on John Henderson, and then Scott Campbell winning yet again. Another victory for him. That's all he's done in Group B, is win, win, win. So here are the last few results. Confirmed Scott Campbell through, 4-3 win in his last 2 games over Kelling first and then Cox. John Henderson won his first game 4-1, lost his second 4-1. He's still in the box seat when it comes to qualification for Saturday, but it hasn't yet been confirmed. And then that third spot still up for grabs. So here's how that translates to the table. Scott Campbell's name in gold, which means he is back tomorrow. 12 points for him, 6 wins from 6. And now the task for him, you feel, will be to win every single match, 10 from 10. John Henderson, 4 wins from his 6 games, puts him on 8 points. He's got the superior legs difference. It might still come down to that, but you feel that he is the next man to be illuminated in gold. And then one of Cressy or Cox will take that third spot. Well, Jamie Kelling is dead and buried in this group, but he can still do some damage, and he can ruin the night for everyone else. He can ruin George Cressy's evening by putting a dent in his hopes of qualification. I say it's a fight for third between Cox and Cressy. Well, they both might finish higher up than that, depending on what happens with John Henderson. Not guaranteed that Hendo is going to finish in second. He plays Scott Campbell in his next match.
Game on.
But this one, we'll see Jamie Kelling throw first. Scoring, brilliant. Same as yesterday. He's carried on in that vein today. Doubling,
one of them, folksy,
leaving a fair bit to be desired at times. And that game against Scott Campbell, his last match, should have won it, Laura, and ended up walking off a loser.
Yeah, he should have indeed.
60.
7 darts missed to win the match for Jamie Kelling. Ultimately for Jamie, he'll still want to be leaving on a positive. If he can pick up a couple
100.
of wins, he can still affect how the outcome is for the table, despite now not being able to qualify. But as for George, it's been a really solid start to this final
54.
session before finals night. Beating Lee Cox 4 legs to 2. And then that 4-1 win, as you mentioned, over Hendo. And that's put him in really good stead, because if he gets another win here, that will put him on to 8 points. And that'll put him right amongst the mix. But most importantly, it'll put him 2 wins, 4 points clear of Lee Cox.
One of them, folksy. $97. One of them, folksy. Jamie Carr, 104.
Well, it's Kelling first for the finish. Finds the treble 20. Opts for 12. Leaves double 16.
72. Georgia Carr, 107.
Can't be done now. Needed to stay straight at least.
45. Jamie Carr, 32.
Double 16 needed. And
Getting shot
found
on the first leg, Jamie Kelly.
by Jamie Kelling for the 1-0 lead.
Second leg, George to through
Now
first.
this bit
Game
he's
on.
pretty good at. Winning early legs. Just towards the end of game, so 7 mismatched darts. Needs to make sure they don't haunt him.
One of
Listen,
them,
he's got
40.
nothing to play for, but you want to make amends for a game like that, don't you? When you've lost when you shouldn't have lost, you want to make sure you put it right in the next one. And the aim
100.
for Jamie Kelling will definitely be to win a match. Nobody wants to be routed.
Yeah, and you just look at the
57.
numbers, and I don't think that really he deserves to not to walk away from this week without a win. But sometimes that is just the way that darts goes.
60.
Looking at that previous match between Scott Campbell and Lee Coxon, the idea of a bit of a kit clash came into my mind, that they were both in blue. Well, we've got another one here. It actually used to be a thing, I think, that dart players couldn't wear the same coloured shirts if they were too similar in style. I think the higher seeded player used to get like
96.
precedence as to whether they
Georgia Carwood
wanted to change their
24.
shirt or not.
Great shot.
Game shot on the
Great
second leg,
finish.
George
I was
Cressy.
just thinking we've not had a ton plus finish in a while,
leg
and then
Jamie
Cressy
through
comes up
first.
with the
Game
goods. We
on.
had 12 of them yesterday. Far more sparse this time, but a 12 darter
60.
with that 1-2-4.
And we are getting very much, we're seeing a lot more 4-visit legs
100.
from George Cressy tonight. 11s, 12s.
78. $125.
Well, we spoke about how poor old Jamie Kelling was getting peppered with ton plus finishes.
140.
We've only had 3 tonight, and he's been on the receiving end of 2 of them.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned earlier, was he on the receiving end of 4 yesterday?
Yep.
2 of them were hit by Cressy.
180. $59. Georgia Car 96.
Oh, potential 11 dart leg here for Cressy. Part 1 done. Looking at double 18 for 11 darts. Over to double 9.
78. Jamie Carwood 64. $44. Georgia Car 18.
Straight
Game
for
shot
it
on
and
the
straight
third leg,
in it.
George Cressy. Fourth leg, George to throw first. Game on.
And I do think anyone that has played darts or has played kind of an individual professional sport will really feel for Jamie Kelling in this situation. I mean, George is playing beautifully at the moment, averaging just under 110. But
140.
it must be so difficult when you're losing game after game to try and get those motivation levels going. I know the focus will be to get that elusive win.
Well, it's another maximum for Jamie Kelling. He has been bombing them in over the last 2 days. He's got no wins
58.
to show for it. 0 points. Scoring has been massive at times. Massive.
$99.
Yeah, and he should be, and he will be, first down to a finish in leg number 4.
58.
But that's sometimes been the issue. A couple of massive scores, then one that just allows a little bit of hope to the opponent.
95. Jamie Carwood 23. $98. Georgia Carwood.
Not quite easy as 1, 2, 3 for Kelling. Can't finish.
57. Jamie Carr 25.
9 for double 8.
No score.
Bust.
Georgia Carr 52.
Wrong double. Not far away, but too far away. Double 16. Cressy does want double 16.
Game shot on the fourth leg, George Cressy.
3-1. Fine margins.
Fifth leg, Jamie to throw
And
first.
that's what it's been
Game
like
on.
for Kelling over the last couple of days.
Yeah, and there's almost this look on the face of Jamie Kelly when he's in the background to say, the way that my couple of days has gone, then... I mean, this is how his couple of days have gone. He's finding big scores, he's finding maximums, makes one or two tiny errors, and he is punished time after time. But as I say, he was almost resigned to the fact that that double was going in, but for George Cressy.
What's that, 12 180s now over the last couple of days? He's hit 2 in every single
60.
one of his games he's had tonight. I think he's seeing the funny side of it, Jamie Kelling. There's
58.
a smile on his face. Here we go again, another one of those. And it's still giving me absolutely nothing.
55.
Well, as it stands, Jamie Kelling has got as many 180s tonight as he has legs.
$100.
Just going back to your kit clash conversation. Now, I understand it in a team sport. But this is darts. You can see the people's faces.
46.
Do not need to worry about a kit clash. Although I do quite like the concept of home and away kits for dart players. I think we could get some interesting and funky ideas going with that.
58.
Well, it's a concept that Gowan Price has kind of taken on board for the Premier League. He kind of changes his shirt colours.
140.
Well, treble 20s have been no problem for Jamie Kelling. Hence why it's no real surprise that he gave himself the chance at tops after finding 260s with the first 2 darts.
54. Jamie Carr, 20. Game shot on the
Holds
fifth
his
leg,
throat.
Jamie Kelling.
16
Sixth leg,
darter.
George to throw first. Game on.
You were kind of pulling a face at my thought process with Gowan Price. You know, goes to Ireland, wears green, goes to Scotland, wears blue. I know they're not home and away, but he's kind of endearing himself to the fans in the audience, and it actually seems to be working.
96.
I was really thrown in the Premier League earlier this year by Gian van Veen in Rotterdam wearing an orange and black, almost tiger striped shirt. It completely threw me. I was not expecting it at all.
140.
Just permanently in his away kit.
He's always away.
He's always away.
Yeah. What do you expect?
140.
I don't mind it. We've seen Michael van Gerwen, for example. He's gone for the mainly black shirt with the kind of green accents on it. For years, he was
65.
just bogey green. So it's kind of like he's flipped the colours, and we can have one as a home shirt and one as an away shirt. I think I'm warming to this idea.
133. George Carr, 116.
Match-winning chance if he can find the treble. It was always going to be awkward with that first dart.
40. Jamie Carr, 132.
$57. Isn't hit.
64.
Well,
George
here's
Carr,
Jamie
76.
Kelling going to walk away with another defeat here. 88 for the match.
$68. Jamie Carr, 68.
Well, Jamie Kelling surviving 2 match starts there for George Cressy, but a chance once again to level up at 3-all. 2 darts in hand for Kelling.
Game show on the
Jamie
sixth leg,
Kelling
Jamie
almost
Kelly.
willing, almost talking that dart
So the
into the
final leg,
double.
Jamie to throw first. Game on.
I think that's the best double he's hit over the last 2 days. Okay, it doesn't mean a great deal in the context of the group. But
60.
in the context of his emotional well-being, having missed that and potentially losing the match again,
134.
it goes from annoying to concerning. But all's good.
60.
He hit the double four. Now he's looking to hit Cressy with a punch, which knocks him off his stride for qualification for Saturday.
85.
But not the best of starts for Kelling. Already, both players having thrown 6 darts. He's almost 100 points behind.
60.
Yeah, what he'd give for one of those maximums right about now.
60.
Cressy is still averaging 94. He's been at that level through the whole match. A 1-2-4 finish in there, a 13-dart leg in there for George Cressy. There is that 94 average.
58.
And still that stoic look on the face, full of focus. Determined to try and take one of the 2 remaining spots for finals night via Group B.
100. Georgia Carverton, 64.
Well, the ton leaves Kelling 81. And Cressy can't start 164. 2 treble 19s was the goal.
Jamie Carr, 81.
Winning a match, that's the goal for Jamie Kelling. Treble 12. Double 13.
55.
Match
Georgia
start
Carr,
come
77.
and gone for Kelling. But will he get more? Or will it be Cressy who picks up the win? Kelling's expecting it to go in. And he'd be right to expect that.
George Cressy.
For the second game in a row, Jamie Kelling edged out in a last leg decider where he had a match dart or more. Still yet to find that first win. He is trying, and it's through no want of trying. But George Cressy, you have to tip your hat to him. 40% on the doubles, a 1-2-4 finish, a 92 average in the end, and a win which sees him stay in contention for Saturday night.
Oh my word, that is world class.
Really?
Game shot on the fourth play.
First weekly win. Game shot and the match and the series 12, week 7.
Winning 15 matches in a row, winning all of his games 4-3 tonight, including the final. Good Evans.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Oh, Tomoya Goto.
You're kidding me. Not another one.
Game shot on the third leg.
That's another one.
As the champion, it's matched out. Keegan rolls back the earth in the most sensational fashion.
Well, here's who we have for you in week 6. Series 14 is almost halfway done. Some very familiar names from all over the world. Japan, Belgium, the Isle of Wight. We've gone exotic for week 6. And some familiar faces as well in Group C for those of us in the commentary box. Do join us from Monday morning at 9:30 for all of the action as it gets underway in week 6 of Series 14. Scott Campbell is through. John Henderson isn't. Scott Campbell is looking to win every single one of his games. John Henderson is looking to win this game because it means he will be one step closer to returning tomorrow night to the Live Lounge stage. For my money, Laura, these two have been the best two in Group B. Scott Campbell has his spot confirmed. Do you feel that it will be the Highlander John Henderson who's next?
It does feel likely, and John will qualify with any win. He's got 2 games left. It'll put him on 10 points, and he will no longer be catchable by Lee Cox, who's on 4 points, but himself has 2 more games to go. Lee Cox in a position where he could potentially get to 8 points. George Cressy already there, so it feels more likely John is still in the better position of the 3. He's still sat in second place. He still has that dominance when it comes to leg difference. But it's still just not quite sewn up yet. And for Hendo, I imagine, yes, he'd love to just get it job done here against Scott Campbell. Like I say, he does have that backup plan, but that is against Lee Cox, and that could be a game that could be quite interesting, the very last game of the session.
Well, Scott Campbell is very much a stats man. And he was saying to me earlier that one of the things he wanted to tick off that he's never done at the Modus Super Series is win every single game in a day. He did that yesterday, winning 4 from 4. He potentially could do that again today and become one of only a handful of players to have won every single match.
45.
Yeah, it's fair to say for Scott Campbell, he hasn't necessarily played quite to the level that we saw yesterday, but he has done more than enough.
140. $58. Scott the car, 161. $99.
Well, winning all of your games in a group is a rare thing. But we did see it as recently as a week ago with
135. So the car,
winning all
62.
of his games and then winning all of his games on finals night too.
$46.
Campbell looking to become the 11th person to win all of his Group B games. He needs to get past John Henderson first.
140. Scott the car, 16.
Well, Well, he has made the stronger start of the two, but needs to find this
Yeah,
double 8.
first
Does
leg,
second
Scott
dart, I'm
Campbell.
asking.
Second leg, John to through first. Game on.
Yeah, if Scott Campbell can go through the card in 2 consecutive days in Group B, as you say, puts him in a bit of an elite group, but then would have the opportunity to join an even more elite group,
100.
which contains just 3 people, the aforementioned Archie Self and the wonderful Bo Greaves and Derek Coulson. They're the 3 players that have won all their Group B matches, then gone on to win every single match on finals night.
100.
Well, these two might be
59.
buddies. They might be Scotsmen. They might be international pairs, partners. But I'm not so sure it's friendly competition up on the
60.
stage. They are both desperate to get the edge on the other.
Yeah, and sometimes it depends, but sometimes it can be worse being friendly and knowing your opponent as well
100.
as these two know each other. John Henderson has mentioned it previously, you know, they're both really good friends, and you could perhaps see that in their performance yesterday because it was a really tight match. It was 4-3, it was edged
44.
by Scott Campbell, but Scott missed 16 darts at the outer ring in that particular fixture, and we know that that was probably the only match where missing doubles played a big part in the game.
45.
Is it worse when you lose to a good friend because you know you're going to get it in the neck for the rest of the night in the practice room? Or is it worse when you lose to someone you don't know?
95.
I mean, losing is terrible anyway. Let's put that right.
That bit I can agree with.
But no, it depends on the relationship you got with your friend, let's be perfectly honest.
177.
That's a great visit from Hendo to leave double 10 after 15 darts. But yeah, I'll come back to your point after this leg's won
126.
because
John Carr, 20.
I've had it both ways.
Gage
One
on the
apiece.
second leg, John Henderson.
Hendo executes the double 10.
Third leg, Scotland through first. Game on.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying, I've played here a few times at the Women's Weeks, and I think on 3 occasions been in the same group as Lorraine Winstanley. Lorraine and I, good friends, practice partners. The amount of times that I go 2-0 up, and it got to the point she went, it doesn't matter if you go 2-0 up because I know I've always beat you 3-2. There was one edition of Women's Week where I did get the better of her, but 9 times out of 10 it was Lorraine that came out on top. The
59.
worst thing about that was I didn't even know I was doing it until she pointed it out. And then I thought back to every practice session that we had, and I would race into a 2-0 lead, and she'd peg me back nearly every time.
Next time, just walk off.
91.
First to 2. Sorry, change the format.
$43.
Hendo struggling a bit in this leg. He is against the darts, so you'd expect Campbell to hold his throw. But pretty big discrepancy in the scores.
$100.
Even bigger now.
Yeah, did really well to find that treble 20. And rest assured, if Scott Campbell gets the opportunity
45.
for the ball, he will go for it.
Scott Campbell 70.
I said there was so much confidence, and now we'll never know.
59.
I reckon he would have done. He's got such a big buffer in this game. In this leg, I should say. Maximum for Henderson. That is maximum number 299 for Hendo here at the Modus Super Series. But that is 111 points taken care of by Scott Campbell.
Game on.
It's another ton plus finish for him to add to his collection across this group, and it gives him the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, that 299th 180 for Henderson rendered academic in the end. It's good
100.
finishing from Scott Campbell. Leg by leg, These guys are getting quicker, 17, 16, 15 darts. So if that pattern's to continue, then
91.
this game could be over in a matter of minutes.
$125. $180.
Oh, Campbell firing in a max of his own. Making John Henderson really work.
140.
Has to stay there.
60. John Newcoward 36.
Another one would leave double eight. Decided to move downstairs. Why have you done that then, John? He's not sure. We're not sure. Scott Campbell's probably
96.
not sure.
Scott Newcoward 70.
Well, how much will it hurt if Scott Campbell on this occasion can take out the biggest finish of them all?
You know he wants to. You know he wanted to. Desperately. That would have given him
41.
something to rib Hendo
John
about in the
40.
practice room. Make sure it is tops you need, John, yeah? Tops. It's been his calling card in this group. It's not been as effective today as he was yesterday.
No score. Scott Newcoward 29.
And the setup play from the 170, not on point for Scott Campbell, so 129 required. Treble 20 will leave the ball.
$93. John Newcoward 40.
Missed all three at tops in the last
Gage
visit,
on the
but just
fourth
needs
leg,
the
John
one dart this
Henderson.
time around.
Fifth leg Scott through first. Game on.
2 each.
Yeah, every leg so far going with throw.
$180.
It's the second 180 of the match. A sweet one for Scott Campbell.
43.
Yeah, the grimace is telling me that Scott Campbell is
24.
now feeling very good about the situation he finds himself in, and why wouldn't he? He knows he'd already qualified, but now he's honing in on different things. He's looking at going through the card on the second consecutive day, and perhaps
97.
even having thoughts of a 9 after hitting that first 180.
With how well he scores, you can understand why he might have been entertaining
100.
that thought. And with more ton plus finishes than anyone else across the group over the last 2 days,
41.
you'd be silly to suggest he couldn't have a go at the 141 if it came about. Main goal is to hold throw.
59.
Well, you can tell that we're just crossed over into the midnight hour.
Crossed over into the
85.
twilight zone.
Got the car, 138.
Welcome to the Super Series.
Another one. It's not in, unfortunately, Scott.
72.
Well, John Henderson has so far been very good, very consistent on throw, but hasn't really been able to do too
85.
much damage when it
Scott
comes to
Leclerc,
throwing
66.
against the darts. And he's going to have to find a way of breaking Scott Campbell if he's to find a way of winning this match.
Double 16.
Getting shot on the fifth leg, Scott
A
Campbell.
3-2 lead. for
Six
Scott
leg John to
Campbell.
throw first. Game on.
And just one more leg required for yet another win in Group B. He's dominated games at times. He's been lucky, survived match darts at times. But he has been the best player in this group. I don't think we can dispute that, despite the fact that he has had to ride out a few scares.
$83.
We saw earlier on in Group C, Ashley Coleman, when he confirmed his spot in finals night, there was just that little lull in the match directly after as Hendo fires in his 300th. 180. What an amazing achievement.
Makes him just the 15th player to hit 300 maximums here at the Modus Super Series.
83.
He's still 261 behind Steve West. You got some catching up to do, Hendo. I bet Steve West, he's definitely watching this game, Westy. So congratulations. 561 maxes, Westy. Great effort. By far and away the most. It's 99 more than the next
42.
best, which is Conan Whitehead, who has 462.
$56.
Jamie
John
Kelling,
McCall,
who's hit the most
56.
maxes in this group. He's up next against Lee Cox.
Getting shown the sixth leg, John
Hendo
Henderson.
back at it on tops.
Seventh final leg, Scott to throw first.
3 apiece. And Scott Campbell throws first in the last leg decider.
Game on.
Wow. Whilst 180, 299 for John Henderson was rendered inert via a 1-1-1 finish for Scott Campbell. That most definitely came in handy to level things up at 3 apiece.
55. $100. One of them,
Scott
40.
Campbell right now playing his third match of this session and finding himself in another last leg decider. He was a 4-3 winner over Jamie Kelling. He was a 4-3 winner over Lee Cox. His results, they have run really close this evening. Is he going to come out on top against Henderson?
59.
This game was 4-3 yesterday between the two of them as well, and it was Scott Campbell who picked up the win.
58.
Look at that, the scoreline there, just 4 points separating the two of them after 9 darts.
That's going to change.
One of them, 40.
Big, timely 140 for Scott Campbell.
$81. Scott the car, 107.
And this for the match. To keep a clean sheet.
Tops for the win. Scott
87.
Campbell misses it. Would have been a ton plus out. At least he had an out. Henderson on 162. He's not given himself a chance. And it was a chance
65.
that if he had hit
Scott the
it,
car, 20.
had it been a finish, that would have taken him through to Saturday night. But it looks like Scott Campbell is going to collect yet another 2 points because he's beaten John Henderson 4-3 in a last leg decider for the second day running. Hendo is still waiting to confirm his place in Saturday night. Scott Campbell is eagerly waiting for his next and final game against George Cressy, because if he wins it, he'll join a pretty elite club, having won every single game in Group B. Beats his Scotland teammate for international pairs by 4 legs to 3. Here's the situation in Group B. Scott Campbell in gold is already through. With 7 wins from 7, is looking good to run the card again for a second day on the spin. John Henderson in second place on 8 points. So is George Cressy. But our next match is Lee Cox against Jamie Kelling. Now, Jamie Kelling on 0 points cannot qualify. But if he wins his first match of the group and beats Lee Cox next up, that sends Hendo and Cressy through to Saturday night. If Cox wins against Kelling, he keeps his chances alive, and Cox is still in with a sniff. So that is the landscape. How will these two throwers paint the picture? For Jamie Kelling, the story is simple. Scoring big, more maximums than anyone else, can't buy a win. He's missed a whole host of match starts. He's also missed starts at double in important legs throughout his campaign.
Leader through first.
Credit to the 36-year-old from just up the way in Andover, though, because he wasn't actually meant to be here, and he's answered the call at late notice, so credit to him for that. And credit to Lee Cox as well, who's playing through a bit of an injury at the moment, some back troubles.
59.
And he's still in with a shout, potentially, but has to win. And if he's going to win, he's going to need to win big. And Jamie Kelling, although he's
60.
lost every single match, doesn't feel like he's been getting absolutely smashed. I mean, his legs difference is minus 13, but it could be a whole lot worse than that. He has been competitive enough. So
100.
the aim for Cox is to win and win big.
Yeah, you mentioned Kelling, and 2 of the 3 matches that he has lost
44.
this evening, they have come down to last leg deciders. So lends itself to exactly what you're saying. It's just unfortunate misses at the wrong time.
60.
But I'd say for Lee Cox, he'll know the scenario. He's played here often enough to be able to work out the permutations. He will know that
One
a
of
win
them
is
40.
imperative, but he'll still be reliant on the other results around him.
97.
And ultimately, Lee Cox, he does have that other game to play. That's the very last game. That's against John Henderson. I don't know
85.
about you, but I didn't quite envisage John Henderson having to potentially wait till this far into Group B to confirm a spot that
91.
isn't still 100% his.
Likewise. And it's a bit of a nightmare scenario for John Henderson.
132.
Because his last game
Lee Khan,
is
94.
against Lee Cox. Double-double.
Game show the first
Double-double.
leg, Lee Cox. Second leg, Jamie to throw first. Game
Fine
on.
start from Cox. Knows that he needs to win. If he doesn't,
60.
he's gone. That's a statement of intent.
Yeah, and arguably, just like Jamie Kelling, Lee Cox has been unfortunate this evening. Lost
100.
his last outing against Scott Campbell, 4 legs to 3. That last leg decider. The opening match was against George Cressy. But again, average just shy
80.
of 90, but wasn't able to get more than a couple of legs on the board. But this is better from Lee Cox.
140. $60.
Well, I said it could be a nightmare for Hendo playing Lee Cox in his last game. For 2 reasons, one way or the other.
140.
The first is that if Cox wins this, he knows if he beats John Henderson,
46.
he's got a very
Car,
good chance of
121.
booking his own spot through to Saturday. If he loses this and he's out, he's got nothing to play for, might relax, the arm might loosen up, the tension might
65.
disappear, and he might put in his best performance of the night. mean, I think Henderson would much rather play Cox when he knows he's already out, rather than having something to play for. I think that will be most people's thinking.
Game show on the
Two legs in quick succession for Lee Cox. He's on the march.
First.
He needs a big win, and he's halfway to the biggest win he can get.
Game on.
Well, if this match does continue in this vein, then it will make very interesting reading going into the last couple of matches.
55. $60. One of them, 40. $57.
Well, Kelling not able to find a big treble in response to that 140
60.
from Lee Cox. He hasn't pushed on, but he still has a bit of a buffer.
43. $100. $45. Leah Coward and 46.
Shot no longer on.
56.
Well, Kelling's scoring has been the best component of his campaign, despite the fact he's languishing at the bottom of the table.
77.
Violent
Leah
bounce
Carr,
out
90.
from there. It's kind of not been with him in this match so far.
No, and there was a shake of the head from Kelling, because sometimes as a dart player you feel that when things are just not going your way, then there's someone conspiring against you when you get a bounce out or if you float into the wrong bed.
81. Leah Carr, 40.
The 3-0. Down a bit. That's too far. Double 10. That's in though.
Game show on the third leg, Lee Cox.
3-0 lead is secured.
Fourth leg, Jamie to throw first. Game on.
For Lee Cox. And we said how Jamie Kelling has been having close
60.
matches. This one isn't close. That leg wasn't close. Cox in command.
One of them, 40.
He's not looking to slow down against the darts. Tom 40 to begin with.
One of them, 40.
Jamie responds with one of his own.
$96.
That's a good pick off with the last dart for Lee Cox. But Jamie's just starting to find that scoring prowess, and of course he could not go through a game without hitting at least one maximum.
He's hit at least two in every match he's had so far tonight. Just the one in this game till now. Well, that 5 ruins his chances of 1-2-1.
43.
But safe in the knowledge that he will come back to just try and extend this game, to try and play himself back into
65.
a winning
Jimmy
chance.
Carr, 78.
18's first. That's tops left.
38. Leah Carr, 16.
To win it with a ton plus finish. Not now.
Well, Jamie Kelling has been restricted to just one dart at the outer ring, and it's come in this leg. He's going to have 3 more.
Game show on the fourth leg, Jamie Kelling. Fifth leg leader through first. Game on.
No shock that a leg which Jamie Kelling hits a 180 in, he wins it.
100.
But Cox here needs to focus
43.
because there is still a job to do. He has the chance here. He's thrown first in the leg to see the match out 4 legs to 1. It would do the world of good for his legs difference, and then it would be a bit of a waiting game.
One of them, 40.
Trade in ton 40s.
$85.
A blemish with the last. Leaves him 176. Would have loved that one to deflect
23.
the other side of the wire and stay in that 20 segment.
$136.
Great way to recover with the next visit. The best setup he could have hoped for from that position. And crafty Coxey
26.
looking to inflict another
count
defeat
40.
on Kelling and keep his campaign alive.
Game show on the match, Lee Cox.
He still believes. Lee Cox still believes he can get through to Saturday night. It's a big win for him, a 4-1 victory. And it's a victory which condemns Jamie Kelling to yet another defeat. Not his best display, but one of Lee Cox's more important ones. The average was above 90, 4 out of 7 on the doubles, and he could still yet be back tomorrow. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. This is the live lounge here in Portsmouth. And let's keep things nice and simple for you. That man there, George Cressy, throwing now. If he wins, he is through to Saturday night. Simple as. Scott Campbell, though, he's already qualified to return here tomorrow night for finals night here in week 5 of Series 14. But if he wins, he would have won every single one of his 8 matches.
Game on.
Rolling through the card both yesterday and today. And he would become just the 11th person to win every single game in Group B in Modus Super Series history. And it's an accolade I know
100.
he wants. He's a stats man, is Scott. Check 14th person to win all of his games in Group B. But that's still quite a relatively low number when you consider the amount of players we have come through the doors here at the Live Lounge. So, Cressy, win to go through. Campbell already through, looking to go 100% and win 8 from 8.
93.
And arguably, I think George Cressy has been the best player of this evening session. So far, won all his games. Averages of just shy of 90. 94 and a 92 to boot. Has been very consistent. Got that 4-1 win. It was a comprehensive win over John Henderson. Hendo still waiting in the wings. He'll be playing that last game against Lee Cox.
It will all come down to that final game. Regardless of what happens here. If Cressy wins, he takes himself out of the equation because he knows he's through. Campbell's already sorted. Are we going to see a bullseye finish? Yes, we are. We've waited all week for a 170.
Second leg, Scott to throw first. Game on.
Now we've got one right at the tail end.
And was that a rare smile from George? Now we know what it takes.
I think it was, you know.
One of them, 40.
Yeah, but superb darts, no big celebration. Still has a job to do if he's to make it through on debut to tomorrow's finals.
125.
Today's finals.
Tommy Morris will be involved in finals night, and he hit a 164.
One of them, 40.
And a 161 or a 167. I can't remember. He had 2 big 160s. 167, of course. How could I forget the celebration?
You've tried to forget, and I've just brought you back into it.
You've reminded me.
I have.
2 biggies anyway. Kind of regret saying that now. But well done to Tommy Morris. Exceptional in Group A, and Campbell's been excellent in Group B as well.
100.
Looking to hit back immediately with a 1-2-1 finish. Responding to that 170.
One of them, 40. Scott Coward and 21.
Yeah, and Cressy needed a max to leave himself on a finish, so Campbell here, the luxury of time. $84 points required, so just looking to set up.
62.
Yeah, interesting option there, because if it had gone in the ball, then it would have been double 17 left. But there is an argument to say the 25. It's more favourable because you're a single to double combination on.
$39. Georgia Carr, 116. $60. Scott Carr, 20.
Well, this for parity at 1 apiece.
He doesn't like double 10. But he sinks it anyway.
Game on the second leg, Scott Campbell. Third leg, George to throw first. Game on.
A little cheeky sideways glance to the camera there from Scott Campbell.
96.
I'm just indicating that, yeah, that was close, right down to the wire.
$91. $58. One of them 40.
Well, Scott Campbell here has just wrestled away a bit of an advantage
60.
from George Cressy. If he can get a straight ton or more, he's going to be down to a finish, and that's the perfect start.
Even better.
One of them 40.
Just needs to find another one of those treble 20s
91.
that he's been hitting
Got the
with
car,
regularity over
130.
the last couple of hours. Isn't able
90.
to locate the 60. Brings in the bull anyway. Leaves him tops. Cressy outside of finishing range on 196.
60. Scott the car 40.
Tops for a break for Scott Campbell. Remember, he's looking to complete the card for a second 8. On the spin. Double
Each on
10
the
for a
third
second
leg, Scott
leg
Campbell.
on the spin.
You wouldn't know he doesn't like it.
4 feet Scott to through first.
I wonder how much he does actually dislike it. Was he speaking in jest when he said that? I mean, there is certainly
on.
thought and kind of stock in that idea of lefties throwing across their body and not really liking it a great deal. But when you think of how much someone like James Wade adores double 10, it is just an individual thing per person.
Yeah, and the amount of
123.
right-handed players that they like double 16. So, yeah, I think it is down to personal preference. I think for some players, they might have suffered some previous trauma when it comes to certain doubles, and that's just kind of living rent-free in the back of their minds.
Yeah, all of them in my case.
I've got a fair few.
$58.
It is a funny one, though, because I do know players, you know, at every single level that will say adamantly that they dislike a double, and then all of a sudden you go through a nice little purple patch, you start hitting it a bit more, and you get back on friendly terms with it, and then you start using it a bit more, and you kind of forget about the bad relationship you had for a few years.
Well, some players are adamant they're not going to go anywhere near a certain double. I mean, Gary Anderson for years was tops and tens every single time. Now, in the last couple of years, we've seen him use double 16 and double 8 as much as he has been tops and tens. It's funny how a crusty old veteran like the Flying Scotsman is still willing to change his ways and open himself up to using double 16 after all this time and the amount of success he's had on tops and tens. One of the all-time greats.
100. Georgia car 167.
Treble 19. Well, he's already hit a 170. Why not a 167 to go with it?
99. Scott the car 160.
This would be very Scott Campbell. Tops for a big 160 for Campbell.
One of them 40.
Drops it low below that bottom
68.
wire. Frustration. Didn't give it enough legs.
Double 16 to level it up once again at 2-all.
36. Scott the car 20.
Double 10 again for a third leg on that particular double. And a third leg on the spin. And Scott Campbell is closing in on clearing house.
Fifth leg George to throw
here
first.
In Group B.
$60.
Now just looking at the table, and I'm pretty sure I heard it in my ear as well, that any win here for Scott Campbell would actually take John Henderson through.
40.
And the jeopardy would then be between George Cressy, who'd be waiting nervously backstage, and Lee Cox. And again, it's because of legs difference. It's all getting rather complicated, isn't it, in Group B?
$100. $60. $60.
Well, George Cressy has found himself in a real battle. I mentioned earlier that he is a player that had the potential to go through the card tonight, but is finding himself one leg away from defeat and allowing Scott Campbell to not just go through the card tonight, but go through the entirety of Group B without losing a match.
134.
Well, it's another average above 90, 91 roughly for George Cressy. And he's been up and around that high 80s mark for a lot of tonight.
96.
Just the solitary leg, it was the opening leg. He won that in 12 darts with that magnificent 170, but since then it's very much been all about Scott Campbell.
Wrong treble for Scott Campbell.
85. George O'Carr, 93
for Scott Campbell. Looking for the treble 14. It's just a single 11.
43. Scott O'Carr, 82.
Single 13 to follow in, so 50 left. Bull first. And if he hits, he'd leave double 16. No, he's decided to go treble 18. Well, he knows he is so close to joining quite a rare club, which is winning every single one of his games, but he's making a bit of a mess of this,
64.
Scott Campbell.
George O'Carr, 50.
Yeah, and I get it. He's trying to leave a more preferable double, but the disaster was didn't leave a chance at a double at all. And Cressy,
18.
He cannot find
18.
the double. Bit of a head scratcher here because, yeah, wondering how and why he's left double 9.
It is a rout of Group B for Scott Campbell. 8 games, 8 wins. Through to Saturday night in the process. And not only that, he's dragged his mate through with him as well. The 4-1 win over George Cressy does not completely extinguish Cressy's chances of qualification for Saturday, but what it does do is ensure Scott Campbell has won 100% of his games, and Big John Henderson will be joining him in finals night from Group B.
We have reached the end game here at the Live Lounge, and you can see already Scott Campbell has gone through the card both days, winning 8 out of 8. He took his friend John Henderson through with him with that last win, and Niall has popped down to have a quick chat with Scott Campbell.
Scott, well done. Something yesterday you'd never done before at the Modus Super Series was win all of your games in a night, and you've now done it 2 nights on the bounce, 8 from 8. How pleased are you with that?
Yeah, delighted. Fingers crossed we can make it 3 nights in a row tomorrow. That'll be fine.
In terms of the things you've achieved here, do you have a little bingo card of things you want to cross off? I know you mentioned yesterday that that's something you'd like to do, so to do it 2 nights on the bounce must be quite pleasing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I used to have a little, obviously things in my head that I wanted to do that I've not done here and things like that. But once you start overthinking it, then that's when you're going home on a Saturday morning instead of playing Saturday night.
You have had a couple of scares. There have been a few 4-3s. You've had to survive match darts at times, but I suppose that's all part and parcel. You are going to get into situations where that is going to be the case. It's just about how you ride it out.
Yeah, full of good players this week, but I gave myself a privilege, obviously, winning the 4 games yesterday. So guys chasing points tonight, missing a couple of match darts where I was just sitting behind them, ready to clean up.
And winning just there, your 8th game, drags your old pal, Big John Henderson, through with you as well. So you'll do battle again tomorrow night. I know it's not always easy when you're in the back waiting for someone else to pick up a result for you, but you get to kind of renew your friendship and rivalry with John tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been in a position where I've seen a couple of guys on the stage hoping obviously someone loses, or obviously vice versa or whatever. So it's horrible sitting in the back waiting for someone to win.
Just lastly, it goes without saying, we know what your aim is. In 24 hours' time, you want to be leaving this building with a nice silver trophy under your arm, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've won a week. Obviously, I would love to play in Champions Week again. A little bit of unfinished business from there. So it would be nice, yeah.
Appreciate your time and well done.
Cheers, Neil. Thank you.
Well, we know 2 who are through. There's 1 more space left to get, and as you see there, Lee Cox, he must win to qualify. He's played himself back into a position where this is now a possibility. And it is George Cressy waiting in the back room anxiously to see the outcome of this match. Any win for Henderson and George goes through. Any win for Lee Cox, and it's the crafty Coxie that makes it into finals night once again. Yeah, it was definitely a slow start to the evening for Lee Cox. He lost his opening match 4 legs to 2 against George Cressy, the player waiting to see the outcome of this match. It was then a last leg decider against Scott Campbell, and Lee Cox on the wrong end of that. But that 4-1 win over Jamie Kelling in the last, well, that was imperative. The big win improved the leg difference for Lee Cox, hence why he finds himself now in a position where he could get through to finals night. As for Henderson, he hasn't got to go through that turmoil of playing in a match where he has to win because his leg difference is far superior 44 to the likes of Lee Cox and George Cressy.
$60.
And I'm sure Lee Cox, having played here on many an occasion before, will know what he has to do. He's currently sat on 6 points. He needs to get to 8 points. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter. For both these players that are waiting, it's going to be a real disappointment. I mean, it's the nature of the beast. Only 3 can go through, but if you're that player that gets onto 8 points 55 and then doesn't make it through, 8 points is normally enough to make it through from Group B. But it could pan out that it won't be enough for George if Lee joins him on the same number of
60.
wins.
John Carver, 37.
But for Big John Henderson, maybe a bit of relief that he doesn't have to find a level in this game.
51.
He can just relax, play his game. Doesn't have to chase anything or force anything.
$44.
Yeah, and that,
John Carr, 86.
when you know that you've done the main bulk of the job. It can go one way or the other. You can relax and play some of your best darts, or you can kind of lose that natural amount of adrenaline that you need in order to see you across the winning line. So this is an interesting dynamic in this particular match.
Double 12.
Game shot the first leg, Leacox.
That is the start of a man who knows he needs to win.
Game on.
Did this one of his previous games as well, starting with decent finish in the 90s. Lee Cox has the advantage early on.
Yeah, Lee Cox just looked very much in control in that 4-1 win over Jamie Kelling. Yeah, he kicked off with a 94 finish, but he was 4 from 7 on the finishing, and that's been maybe an element where Lee Cox could have tightened up.
140.
And he's making a very good start here in this leg as well. Back-to-back 140s to kick off leg number 2.
40. And
as I said, if this does go the way of Lee, then you have to spare a thought for George Cressy, because he has played really well all night. 3 wins out of 4, but the damage was done yesterday, where he only picked up a couple of wins. I think it was actually the 1 win.
Yeah, and he's had some good performances, averages wise. He's posted some stuff in the 90s. He's had some really good finishes as well, including that 170 that we saw
91.
Not too long ago.
Game show the second
if it's a finish in the 90s, Lee Cox is going to take it out. Finishes of 94, 97 and 91 now tonight. 2 of those coming in the first 2 legs of this all-important game.
100.
Some real grit, some fighting spirit from Lee Cox.
58.
But you have to say, if you're Cressy waiting in the practice room and you needed a player to kind of essentially go in and bat for you on your behalf, you wouldn't mind it being John Henderson.
80.
No, absolutely not. It's not been a good day today for John Henderson compared to yesterday. He would have hoped to have got Saturday night qualification sewn up far sooner than he did, and on his own accord, rather than having Scott Campbell, his old Scottish mate, doing him a favour.
But a bit like how the damage was done for Cressy yesterday by only picking up 1 win, the good stuff came from Henderson yesterday. Having that good first day and setting yourself up, it's also important.
45.
I've been in this situation in the Women's Week where I had a great first day. I think I was in pole position going into the next day, and it went right down to the last game between me and, of all people, Trina Gulliver.
83.
And I've heard this repeated across multiple different sports, whether it be darts or a team sport. It's always worse when you don't have the control.
134.
When you're playing, the nerves almost aren't as much as when you're watching backstage, because there's nothing you can do. Tops.
93.
Not hit by John Henderson.
64.
It was a decent effort. Again.
Just a little bit too much on it. We'll just try and tidy it up, but John
92.
Henderson...
John O'Carr, 20.
Sat on a double with 3 darts in hand. You would expect this to go.
Guide.
15.
Didn't use it.
Lee O'Carr, 72.
So Lee Cox, this is a really good chance to break the Henderson throw and put himself into a 3-0 lead. Double 12 he wants. Now it's double 6. 3-0 he does lead, and a fist pump from crafty Coxie.
4th leg leader through first.
Because he's craftily creeping his way up the table and looking at a spot in Saturday night.
Game on.
Yeah, and whilst we haven't got the kind of dramatics of the big
95.
ton plus finishes, you cannot underestimate how important these almost like pop finishes are. You can see that Lee Cox 3 from 4, but those finishes came off the back of a 97 and 91, and that last one was a 72 finish. What he's doing is,
100.
as we've been kind of discussing both on and off air, he's been visit perfect.
44.
Visit perfect and averaging in the high 80s in a game that you need to win.
100. 60. 60.
Just a couple more big trebles.
43.
And they don't come for Lee Cox. That would have been what he was praying for.
85.
'What are you thinking?
60.
What are you thinking?
John
Staying
Carver
there
with
when you're on
56.
259 and you've got one dart left. A 60 would have left in 159. You can't finish on that. You've got the darts to win and send yourself through to Saturday. But John Henderson renders that absolutely irrelevant because it's 156 for the big man. And he picks up a leg, 3-1.
No, but you're right. Those lapses in concentration cannot happen. Okay.
Game on.
It proved it wouldn't have made a big difference at the end of the day because John Henderson finding his biggest finish of the day.
140.
Not just the biggest finish of the day, the biggest finish of Group B this week. Apart from 59. The 170, obviously. I thought that went without saying.
Well, this feels like there's a bit of a swing in this match. John Henderson now starting to find some big scores, that big finish.
60.
And Lee Cox just cannot afford to just overthink this. He's still got a commanding lead in the context of the match, but
81.
It is horrible when you see your opponent coming back, start chipping away at the lead that you've got.
180. John Carver 140.
Oh, he's not going to go back-to-back biggies. Well, you very nearly
120.
Well, John Henderson with that 156, ripping the honour of second biggest finish of the group away from Lee Cox.
John
hit a
120.
141 previously. Still Cressy, who's watching in the back, probably between his fingers, hoping that Hendo hits.
On the fifth leg,
and Hendo does hit.
6 leg leader throw first. Game on.
Well, this group, in order to confirm every single player through, has gone right down to the wire. And just look at the turnaround from Henderson. Last couple of legs winning in 15 and 14. But Lee Cox has the darts to serve out the match and secure a place.
84. 100.
Well, starts of 125 and a ton in the first two visits for Lee Cox. But hang on, here comes Hendo. Here comes Hendo. There's a maximum. How does that change things? Cox is fighting back.
100.
But it's not enough to leave a finish. And Henderson will be on a finish after these three.
140.
It's just amazing. At 3-0 down, Henderson has just Something has flipped in him.
$60. John O'Carr, 97.
57.
$77. Lee Carwood, 16.
Double 18. Lee
98.
Cox has missed a match
John
start,
O'Carr,
and it's a match start for a spot in Saturday night. Henderson to take us to a last leg decider in the final game, which decides who goes through. Oh, it's bounced out a double 10. How unlucky can you get? And he's gone next door with the following dart.
Wow.
Charmed life stuff for Lee Cox.
18.
Double 9.
9.
Nightmare.
Johnny O'Carr, 8.
Nightmare for Lee Cox. More match starts missed. More opportunities for a spot back here tomorrow have fallen through his fingers. Double 2.
4.
Hendo can't
Lee
win it
O'Carr,
either.
9.
Big one. That's taken care of. Double 4. Double 2. And Lee Cox secures his spot in Saturday night. It went down to the wire. It was dramatic, and John Henderson missed darts to take it to a last leg decider. But that spells the end for George Cressy, because Lee Cox, by beating Big John Henderson, is through to finals night here in week 5 of Series 14. Cox with the 4-2 win, and he's through to tomorrow.
Oh my word, that is world class.
Really?
Game shot on the 4th leg.
First weekly win. Game shot and the match and the Series 12, week 7.
Winning 15 matches in a row, winning all of his games 4-3 tonight, including the final. Good Evans.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Oh, Tomoya Goto.
You're kidding me. Not another one.
Game shot on the 3rd leg.
That's
Tom
another
Lonsdale.
one.
As the champion. It's match start. Keegan rolls back the earth in the most sensational fashion.
Well, how good was that? A dramatic end to Group B we have just seen in week 5 of Series 14, and we get to do it all over again next week. It starts on Monday with Group A, the first 3 days of the week, featuring those 6 players we've seen before, players with experience, players from all over the world. And then Group B, Evans, Lishman and Owens, before Group C sees Turner, Lonsdale and Neal all do battle. That's next week, but this is now, and this is what we have just seen. That final game, massive for Lee Cox, who picked up the 4-2 win over John Henderson, and that means he is qualified through to Saturday night here at the Live Lounge and the opportunity to win a weekly title. Here's the table then, and those top 3 in gold mean they are coming back here to the Live Lounge tomorrow. Scott Campbell running the card for the second day on the spin, 8 wins from 8, 16 points. Henderson left it a little bit later than maybe we anticipated to get himself through to Saturday, and Lee Cox at the expense of George Cressy on legs difference is the 3rd man through to Saturday. Welcome back to the studio here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. We thought it might be a close group, and that's exactly how it turned out to be. Laura Turner has been alongside me to watch it all, and well, we went down to the last game, and Lee Cox, that's the big talking point. We've just seen him qualify, and a big moment for him a much-needed win against John Henderson there.
Yeah, it was huge. It really was. And I was kind of watching out because we've got a nice little view of the stage from here. And Lee was up on that stage. I don't think he could quite believe that he'd managed to find a way to qualify, because at the halfway point tonight, he was way off the pace. But the results fell for him. He dug deep, and ultimately he's played himself into a position for tomorrow.
Hundreds of games on the Live Lounge stage for Lee Cox. By his own admission, maybe he's underachieved a bit. He's playing with a bad back right now, but he's still qualified for Saturday night. It's strange how this sport works. Maybe things are just beginning to change for him.
Yeah, and he's going to hope so. I mean, we've got a few people that are now going into tomorrow's final night that haven't picked up a weekly win, and Lee will want to be able to pick up that trophy. I agree. I think there have been times when Lee has been here and he perhaps has underperformed when it's come to finals night, but who knows, maybe things are starting to align for him, because he had to battle to get through, managed to do it with an injury as well. So we'll see how he goes tomorrow.
Well, it was John Henderson who Lee Cox beat, but John Henderson's name is in gold as well. He is also through, coming back here tomorrow night, but maybe made it slightly more difficult for himself than we expected heading into this evening.
Yeah, it was a bit of an up and down evening, wasn't it? We were kind of expecting the levels that we saw from John yesterday. It didn't quite go to plan, but ultimately, you know, John did all of the hard work yesterday. He put himself in such a solid position, which meant that he could afford to lose a couple of games and still manage to get through.
That 156, a highlight. He also had a tops finish on 100 and got the esteemed honour of hitting his 300th Modus Super Series 180. So
that's amazing, isn't it? What a record. I mean, yeah, 300. I think he hit a 301 in that last match as well. So yeah, he's on his way to 400, I'm sure.
What he does have is so much experience, not just here, but elsewhere in his career. He's won big titles, the World Cup, for example, in the PDC with Peter Wright. So he's been on the big stage in his career. So he will be more than equipped to deal with what tomorrow night will throw at him.
Oh, absolutely. And he'll love it playing here in front of an audience. That's the kind of time when John Henderson comes alive. We say, don't we, no Hendo, no party. But we've got him here, so we're expecting a party tomorrow.
Well, he was dragged through to Saturday night out of his own hands because of a result for Scott Campbell, who won 8 matches from 8. Just a word on him. He must be delighted with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of superlatives I think we've used for how well Scott Campbell has played throughout these last couple of days. And it was great to hear him speaking to you afterwards as well, because he wanted to achieve a clean sweep in an evening. He's done a clean sweep on a whole group, and now he's looking to join an elite group of 3 players and try and pick up every single title tomorrow. He highlighted it. It's been a while since he's won a weekly title, so he's going to be another one that is a serious competitor when it comes to finals.
So Scott Campbell, John Henderson and Lee Cox all through to Saturday night. Not just those 3, another 3 players as well. We saw Tommy Morris absolutely decimate Group A, a record-breaking campaign. Ash Coleman and Kieran Ford have come through from Group C. It's shaping up to be a very competitive finals night. It always is, but here are the 2 groups. Group 1 will see Tommy Morris, Henderson and Ford duke it out, whilst Campbell goes into Group 2 with Ashley Coleman and Lee Cox. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and ask you the question, pick a winner, but pick a winner.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm not even sure I can pick a winner from each group, let's be totally honest here. But an interesting dynamic in the groups. That's Kieran Ford. He's probably the least experienced, going in alongside arguably one of the most experienced players that we've got in the field. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic stacks up and how Ford produces compared to Tommy Morris, who, as you say, was in fine form, and John Henderson, who has got a CV as long as my arm.
It's always a little bit different on a Saturday night here, isn't it? You get fans in the venue, the intensity, the adrenaline, the tension rises. How much are you looking forward to it, and how much will those players be looking forward to that opportunity as well?
Yeah, I always love it. I think when we get a crowd in here, you know, it's just that hustle and bustle of playing in front of people, and I know that's what all the players aspire to do, especially when we get the friends and the family come down. I imagine Lee Cox being relatively local, he might have a few friends and family coming to support him tomorrow, so I am sure they're all looking forward to it, and I know I most certainly am.
Almost halfway through the series already, can you believe it?
I cannot, I know, doesn't it fly by? by. Yeah, Series 14 already. I can't even believe we're in that. But yeah, we're starting to rack up a really interesting looking Champions Week.
Well, Laura, thanks so much. It's been great to have your company over the last couple of days. You'll be back tomorrow, won't you?
I will.
You will be back tomorrow, and hopefully you can join us tomorrow as well. But here's what we've got coming up for you. In his own words, Andy Davidson up next, and then it's Champions Talk with Jeff Smith at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday. All of the build-up heading into finals night can be found on the channel, but 7:30 is where it all begins. Finals night. Who will be the weekly champion in week 5 before Monday sees week 6 commence? Well, thanks for all of your company this evening. We know our 6 players for finals night, but who will be the weekly champion tomorrow will tell us.
The new Modus Super Series champion.
Oh my word!
It's another incredible moment tonight.
Jeff Smith.
It's match start.
5 stars for 4.
Ball for big fish.
Game.